What's going on?
Oh, we didn't set the intro, dude.
Yeah, I did.
No, we didn't. Here,
Oh,
stop it. Yeah.
it's all right. It's all right. We will continue. Let's go ahead and play the intro. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. We were messing with StreamYard tonight and forgot to set the intro. But
That's hilarious.
we'll jump right into
Red October!
all right.
Oh, man.
Bear with us here, guys. We're experiencing a few technical difficulties tonight. I got a good show lined up for you. I hope you guys are ready for it. Apparently, our intro that I'd had in there, like I'd said it and it got deleted. I think maybe you might have accidentally deleted it.
Yeah, I think I accidentally deleted the video. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Luckily, I had a rogue one on standby. But
Yeah.
we'll be with you guys in just a moment. Let's see what we can make sure everything's streaming on all the platforms here.
Looks good.
Just want to make sure we're coming through on every platform. I don't know if doesn't look like Facebook is coming through for some reason tonight. It's telling me live video starting, but
Don't see it happening now.
yeah, don't see it happening.
It's hard to go live on.
Anyway, we'll give it a little bit. We are streaming on Twitch and Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, and X. So any of you guys watching out there tonight, just want to give a shout out to all of you. Thanks for joining us and taking the time out of your evening to spend with us. Gonna give you a little quick show lineup of what we got tonight. We got some red herring, Red October, lights off. Going to be kind of based around Speaker Johnson.
Sound like some Q stuff right there, Hex.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of Q stuff.
Just a sprinkle.
Yeah, just bear with us here, guys. We got some faster than you know. Things are happening pretty fast. We got some news around Comey, some news around Biden, and the whole bribery thing, which ties back into Burisma.
Oh.
We got some corn harvesting comms from GRASSLEY, a little bit more on the Insurrection Act, Q15, SOROS, and some badass clips tonight.
Absolutely.
But I think
funding that Antifa, man, I'll tell you, we're going over that too.
Yeah, some Antifa stuff too. We're gonna start out the show with some really good shit. Sit tight, guys. Get comfy. It's gonna be a long one tonight. Grab you a snack, pop preferably, and get cozy and sit back for some same cues, different views. I think we are. You ready to do this, Parabellum?
I think we're ready, buddy.
I think we are ready. So let's jump into this. There we go.
All right. What's up, man?
Oh, hell of a week. Hell of a week. Hell of a week.
Good God, it was, dude.
Man, the stuff that's happened this week.
Of course, everybody knows Pam Bondi lighting up a firestorm.
Oh, she was freaking napalm.
Dude, she was. I absolutely enjoyed almost every single moment. If you could watch it in its entirety, I strongly urge you to go back and watch it if you didn't get
we've got some
stuff on it tonight.
Yeah, some clips on that for you guys that watching, moments of Pam Bondi just absolutely just raining fire on the Democratic Party.
She eviscerates them. Ship.
Yeah.
You get to see a moment. Graham is mad, going after Senator Whitehouse. Everybody that was there, she totally eviscerated. So we're going to get to enjoy that tonight.
Some quick news we can jump into. I seen that. I don't know if you'd seen this, Parabellum, but Trump was talking about taking. Wait, before we jump into that, do we have any financial stuff?
No, I didn't do any financial stuff as far as today. Some of the big stuff, actually, I do have kind of a cryptic text that just happened here recently. Maybe you guys have seen it in your feed, but it was that Trump tweet going on about China.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how they are an escalation of U.S.-China trade wars happened with new tariffs on export controls. And President Trump put out this cryptic tweet. We'll go over it together here real quick.
Okay.
So President Trump came out. It's a little bit of a lengthy one, but check it out. It's really weird what's going on. Some very strange things are happening in China. They're becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose export controls on each and every element of production having to do with rare earth minerals and virtually anything else they can think of, even if it's not manufactured in China. Nobody has ever seen anything like this, but essentially it would clog the markets and make life difficult for every country in the world, especially for China. We have been contacted by other countries who are extremely angry at this great trade hostility, which came out of nowhere. Our relationship with China over the past 6 months has been a very good one, thereby making this move on trade an even more surprising one. I've always felt that they've been lying in wait, and now, as usual, I have been proven right again. And Trump, he's been proven right again multiple times. So basically, they're saying, there's no way that China should be able to hold the world captive. And it seems to have been their plan for quite some time. It started with the magnets and other rare earth elements. And if you followed the show, you know that China, before everything that's going on with President Trump, China was dominating, 70 to 80% of the rare earth element market. So this is pretty cryptic about what's going on, especially considering all the deals and everything that's happened under the Trump administration. This one's really got me thrown for a loop. What do you got going on this one, Hex?
I did see Trump was talking about that today. And he was also talking about placing higher tariffs, like 100% tariffs on China. I think it was starting November 1st, he was saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got that pulled up here. It's basically, so in response to that, President Trump, he put out this tweet, and then there was the response of President Trump announced a 100% tariff on Chinese imports over and above what's already existing rates. Okay. So there's an extra 100%. Yeah. Play these games, along with new export controls on critical software and technologies. So basically, in response to China's imposition of export limits on rare earth minerals, the move was described as massively intensifying the ongoing trade dispute, with U.S. imports from China totaling $194 billion in the first 7 months of 2025. And Trump, he's basically saying, I mean, this is a hostile move right here. It absolutely makes no sense to me why China would want to do this. But like what Trump said, apparently they're playing the long game, and this plan has been in effect for quite some time coming out of China, and it looks like they're trying to throw a ball.
Sounds to me like a FAFO from Trump.
It is absolutely. The more you fuck around and you find out something right there. So that's not be good.
But
one of the negative effects of that, I can tell you that immediately after this happened, and this happened in the late day today, guys. This was released or midday. The Dow Jones and the S&P 500, the response was a 900-point drop for the Dow Jones. That's a devastating drop on the American market. Okay, that's not good. We've had days where we raised up that way, but that was ultimately the response that came out of that as far as our economy goes. That's a 900-point drop, and if you actually look onto stock market data today, you'll see the market for the first time I've seen in a long time is actually in fear. Okay, so it's the fear driving factor of the U.S. market right now, and that hasn't happened not once yet since the beginning of the Trump administration. I do believe, maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am, but this is definitely not a place you want to be.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think you're accurate on that.
Yeah.
One of the other things with speaking of, like, we didn't have any financial news, but we've got some financial news. It looks like
apparently we had a little bit.
I don't know if anybody watched the Trump announcement tonight, but Trump was talking about AstraZeneca company and coming to the United States, like moving some of their factories to the United States. They're going to spend $5 billion in Virginia, opening up a plant in Virginia and employ quite a bit of people. High skilled jobs. And then also, I think he said there was another factory opening up somewhere in the US that was like $60-some billion.
Yeah. So, and that was all in response to the basically Trump RX and the big deal that was going on. I think you were talking about prior to the show. Or?
Yeah, that and the tariffs. I mean, like, that's why a lot of these, like, you got Hyundai and now AstraZeneca and all these other factories that's coming back to the US because they don't want tariffs put on their products. They're going to bring their factories back to the US so they have no tariffs, and it's going to be made in the USA
that's a huge win, man.
With US materials.
Yeah, that's a huge win with President Trump. I guess he came out and he slashed prices on multiple sectors of big pharma, and basically equalized the board across all countries globally to make it cheaper for the United States, right? Yep. And so you see that in the job market with President Trump. You see that in the automobile market and everything that he did. So now you're starting to see that with the big pharma market, I do believe, man. Mm-hmm. And that's just absolutely
and awesome. That's big with Trump getting into the big pharma market.
Yeah. Well, with all this going on, you think about it. You look at President Trump's administration getting into the rare earth minerals, opening up some of our first rare earth mineral mines that have ever happened. You see the deal with big pharma. You see, the deals with what President Trump has done for the economy and bringing jobs back to the United States and all the tariff deals that he's made. I think, when you put it all together, what you see coming out of China is really they're afraid for the first time in a long time. What do you think about that? I think they're afraid, man. Yeah. Because you're seeing America start to be able to really come back and be the, retain being the number.
We are so back, baby. We are so back.
Yeah. So, they can play games all they want, but here's the deal. At the end of the day, I think even President Trump quoted it. For every one move that China wants to make when it comes to the economy, I believe it is that we have two that we can come back at them with. So our market is more dominating. Even though they have a great market.
Same thing could be said about POTUS. He's always 5 steps ahead of them.
Absolutely, man.
The Democrats.
This is one that was sneaky, though.
Here's you another one too. Like, I'd seen this week too. Speaking of 5 steps ahead of them, and I think I seen this on Red Pill 78 show, but he was talking about this, and I think Trump walked them into this. But a left-wing judge, he was approached by some. The left-wing party to protect unborn children under the Constitution.
Oh, wow.
So they're protected under the Constitution because they were going for this whole entire thing with, deporting and, American birthright citizenship and stuff like that. And they wanted them to be protected under the Constitution to try and, I guess, maybe possibly give them birthright citizenship is what I was taking from it. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But the thing is, these unborn children are now protected by the Constitution, which means what was the left wing going for before
the abortion rights? Is that what
yeah. They were abortion rights.
Abortion rights and everything like that.
My body, my choice. I can have an abortion if I want to. Well, guess what? You shot your freaking whole entire agenda in the damn foot.
That's exactly what they did. I love that you brought up that dissension there, man.
I heard that and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And
I think the thing about being a piece of shit and lying is that you can only keep it up so long before you shoot yourself in the foot. That's what's so great about honest people, I think, in our world today, because if it's so easy to tell the truth and you don't have to keep all your lies in order. And then consequences generally tend not to happen to you so much as if you're just a good moral person. But again, not happening in the Democratic Party, dude.
Again, I think Trump slow walked them into this. They fell into the Trump quicksand and they FAFO'd.
Yeah, well, if you run around and you're reacting and responding off emotions and you don't use that prefrontal cortex of your mind that is responsible for logical thought and decisions, which I do believe firmly the Democrats do not use, you're going to end up doing dumb shit like this.
Yeah. Like I heard that and I thought it was hilarious. Another piece of hilarious news, I think you've got something on this, Parabellum, if I'm not mistaken, but the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, the Nobel Peace Prize. I do have let me see if I can find
Maria.
So go ahead.
What was her name? Maria
Machado.
Maria Machado. Hakuna Machado.
Ain't no 9 degrees.
But anyway, she had won. I got up this morning and I was like looking through my news and I was, getting ready for work, and I'd seen that there was like 100 and some people that was kind of in the running for the Nobel Peace Prize.
There was, and there shouldn't have been that big of a list.
Well, among them, blew my mind. Among them was NATO and Zelensky.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the hell did they deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for?
Yeah. All of them people are actually coming to Trump to find out what the hell to do.
So the big thing with this article I was reading this morning was that their big whole entire yippee yay Trump is not in the nominations. None of these include Trump, and they're just like spouting it off and going on.
Liberals, they're over.
They're so proud Trump's not in the nomination. And then we find out this Maria Machado, yeah.
Yeah, the best way, yeah.
Hakuna Machado, yeah. So anyway, we find out we find out she wins the Nobel Peace Prize. Go ahead and give it to him, Parabellum. What happened there?
Here we go. So here is her response on X. The recognition of the struggle of all Venezuelans is a boost to conclude our task to conquer freedom. We are on the threshold of victory, and today, more than ever, we can count on President Trump, the people of the United States, and the peoples of Latin America, and the democratic nations of the world as far as principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. Who does she dedicate this Pulitzer Prize to? Well, check it out.
Wait. Do I get a guess?
Well, yeah, take one.
Was it James Comey?
Was it Zelensky? No, it was neither of them. It's President Trump.
Oh.
So she dedicates the prize to the suffering people of Venezuela, which I do feel that she has a firm connection to and wants to fight for bettering their life. And I think President Trump recognizes that. And then she goes and she dedicates the Pulitzer Prize to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. And so did you ever see the picture of the liberals screaming and the tears are flying? That's probably what exactly happened.
No. Like after you read that, what I wished I had ready for the show was a little cartoon graphic of a guy kicking another guy in the balls, because that's what she done to the left wing party. She kicked them in the balls.
Absolutely. I believe she knows who's in power, who's going to be able to help her country, who she's going to be able to negotiate trade with, who she's going to be able to negotiate like the betterment of Venezuela and her people. And that That's not liberals right now. That's President Trump.
I seriously laughed out loud when I read that today. After reading what I read this morning about how they were all like, and Trump's not in the nomination. Trump's not in the nomination. That was their big thing. And then all of a sudden she dedicates it to Trump. And I'm like, oh, that's priceless.
They do it to themselves every time, shooting themselves in the foot. Or if it's apparently Republicans, that's the two ways that Democrats shoot. It's either their own foot or they're committing acts of violence.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate.
Trump did give her some recognition in the announcement tonight toward the end of it there.
Absolutely.
He was talking about it. So I was kind of tickled with that. But the other thing I kind of was looking at this week was, we're going through shutdown. And speaking of shutdown, we were kind of hoping maybe that this 10 days darkness, and we're not through with this completely yet, but who knows when it's actually going to shut down. I've been watching the clock over, what, Tuesdays, what you said?
Yeah, Tuesday. So,
but who knows?
Yeah, Tuesday or up to the October 18th. And I've got a little video for that'll explain why October 18th.
So I wondered, with that, like if it is Tuesday before it gets announced that the shutdown's over and they do vote again,
oh, it is. Yeah.
What if, I know, but what if between now and then, like it does happen and they do come to something happens that they miraculously come to an agreement and just open the government back up. I mean, just out of
there's a possibility. Yeah. If they open it up. Yeah. I see where you're at.
I'm still watching the countdown clock because we're like, let me look here real quick.
Well, we're at 10 days today.
No, we're at 9.
Oh, we're at 9? I thought we was already at 10.
No. The countdown clock on the White House's website is we've been in this for 9 days, 20 hours, and 21 minutes, and 46 seconds, 47 seconds, 48. And it keeps going.
We're
up.
Close. Yeah, we're close.
So we're almost 10 days. So let's see what happens with it. I don't know. It'd be cool if it is. Like, that'd be an awesome Q proof. But if not, it's not a big deal. It's just something that, like I was telling everybody to kind of, keep eyes on and watch for this. It could possibly happen. But me personally, I would like the shutdown to last longer than 10 days because what are we seeing right now?
Oh, you're seeing Russell Vogt with the RIFs, his cryptic tweet that came out. The reduction in force is happening. We are starting to, fire everybody.
Draining the swamp.
Yeah, there's no furloughs happening during this government shutdown. So the Democrats absolutely they're idiots, dude. Yep. They are stupid.
Again, they've
allowed this power upon themselves.
They've shot themselves in the foot once again.
Well, we're talking about it. I got a little bit of a video about Trump talking about Vogt and exactly what it is they're going to be going after during these cutoffs.
Is it long enough for me to get some lemonade?
It's only 27 seconds, but no lemonade.
Okay. Maybe next one.
All right.
And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that. And we have Russell can talk to you about it if he wants to. But we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They wanted to do this. So we'll give them a little taste of their own medicine.
Now, if that wasn't an assault, I don't know what is. A verbal let you know. You know what I mean? We're coming after you, and the only thing we're going to be focusing on is Democratic policies.
So that's one reason I'd like to see it last longer because it's draining the swamp, which I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen during this shutdown.
Right.
The other thing too that happened during this shutdown is we had this happened.
Oh yeah, man, that was great. And it almost went under the radar for a lot of people.
Republicans confirmed 107 Trump nominees. 107.
Even with government being shut down, they still found a way to be able to
pull 17.
Absolute. Oh, there's the sprinkle. See, I knew they were coming. I
felt right during shutdown, there was 107. Just so happened to be 107 nominees confirmed. So
that's something.
And also, this was also posted on October 7th, 10/7. That's 17. So
damn.
it's kind of interesting that we found out on October 7th, which is a 17, makes a 17 there, that 107, another 17. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm getting at with 17, it's the 17th letter of the alphabet, Q.
Absolutely.
That this is full control. But I thought that was interesting.
That's pretty cool, man. I love that. I love that it actually happened. You know, me on the conservative, logical news side of things, I'm just glad this happened because now you get a lot more weapons for President Trump into place. And, excuse me, you're going to get Democrats. Have you not heard what's going on, dude? They're trying to play the old card of Trump is weaponizing the DOJ. Have you heard what's going on with this?
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, like, what did they do?
The shoe on the other foot.
Yeah.
You like it. You get what you give. People, everyday average Americans and commoners, we understand this and we live with it day by day. So if you did something and then that said something gets done back to your ass, live with it, son.
Sucks having your own turd shoved back up your butt.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
This is something else that happened today too. Trump, or not today, but earlier, I think it was like a couple of days ago. This came out. Trump. Well, I'll just play the video and you guys check it out.
Revenue coming in. Then you have 37 or 38. It's not 38 yet, but it will be. And the numbers are so much bigger. All of a sudden, 38, you're under levered, whereas for 36, you were highly levered. We're not highly levered anymore. Now, with that being said, we'll pay back debt, but we also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America.
How much are you thinking for that, sir?
Well, we're thinking maybe $1,000 to $2,000. Be great.
And that's coming from tariff money.
There goes again. Yeah, it's going to come from tariff money, and tariff money has done a lot to save. What's going on with the world during the government shutdown and everything about that. But as far as this rebate goes, okay, so there's two ways that I see that this goes. You get two different kind of people. You get people that's like, pay down the debt. And then you get people that's like, well, I'll take the check because I actually really need it right now to be able to get by in this struggling economy of what's going on. We're getting better, but it would really help us get over the top and maybe get out of credit card debt. Which one are you, Hex?
Well, I honestly think that before this is all over with, credit card debt will be wiped to zero. There'll be, the Fed will be destroyed. So, me, I'm like, send me the money.
You're like, send me the money.
But I also think, like, even with that, I think even if they send Americans this money, with the tariff money that we're bringing in, I still think that there's going to be a shit ton of money to pay off the debt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, upwards of $34+ trillion in debt. I'm a pay down the debt guy because I remember getting those stimulus checks. You remember getting them stimulus checks, and I thought it was great.
This is what I said.
Like a rebate. It's kind of like a rebate or a dividend, and then
no. Let me back you up on that a little bit. This is what I said when this came out. These stimulus checks that Obama had sent out. I said this money isn't free. You're gonna have to pay.
Free, dude.
You're gonna have to
pay
pay that money.
Obama. You
will have to pay that money back. And what happened?
It was deduced from your tax refund. And that was something they definitely kept. I mean, they might have said it, like out in a newspaper or something, you know what I mean? Or, but they definitely didn't just really go on, hey, if you take this money, they didn't tell you plain as day. It's going to be able to come out of your refund at the end of the year. We
had Walker on the show and I was asking him to tell the story of the free corn and the wild
I
pig.
remember that.
Let me see if I can do this justice for Walker. So, and this is what it boils down to with those stimulus checks and everything else that the Democrats put out is, okay, so you want to catch a wild pig, and I hope I do justice to this, Walker, if you're watching, but you want to catch a wild pig. Okay, so this farmer wants to catch a wild pig. He goes out, he puts a little bit of corn out there in his field, and the wild pig comes up and he starts eating that corn. All right, so the farmer puts up a piece of fence, just one section of fence, while the pig's eating the corn. And then the next day he puts out some more corn. The farmer puts out the next section of fence right beside that section. And he keeps repeating this process until he has a fence all the way around this pig. And then he's got the pig, and the pig's caught. He took the free corn. And he FAFO'd.
Fucked around and found out.
Yep.
So what I've seen is like, if you remember under the president,
don't take the free corn is basically
don't
what
do
I'm
it,
saying.
man.
Yeah.
But what was weird
but now with this, it's different.
Well, you had Trump, who also sent out $600 stimulus checks, and there was a little bit different things that happened. Then you had Obama, or you had Biden. I'm sorry, it sent out that, and that basically turned into advanced tax credits versus not an advance on a refund. So there's your difference. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the way I can best see this is they're an advance payment of a tax credit known as the recovery rebate credit. This means the government sent you the money early. Okay, it's like if your boss were to give you an advance on 20 hours of your paycheck. You know what I mean? But this is for yearly for your tax return.
It's
so
like
I'm really down with that, man.
It's like a check cashing place where you can go cash a check and take a loan out. That's basically what it was.
Absolutely. It was like, here's your advance, and they didn't really push that so much as far as in the Biden administration and all that shit. And I don't think it was that way with President Trump. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't remember $600 coming out of my tax return as an advance during Trump. I remember $600 check. So did that not do more than the $2,000 you had to fucking pay back for what was given to you early? To me, I feel like
that's why I think it's different with this. Like if he's got to send $2,000 to every American, a tax paying American, I think that, we're probably not going to have to pay that back because what's he wanting to do? He's wanting to end the IRS.
Well, this is tariff revenue, and like you said, he wants to end the IRS. And from the logical view, is this tariff revenue? I don't see Trump doing it as an advanced rebate. You see what I'm saying? Yep. I trust this a little more than I would.
I do too. It's free corn that you can actually take and eat,
and that's rare, right? Like it's once in a lifetime deal.
Like right now, Americans are like free corn. Maybe.
Hey, they're scared to death to take free corn, dude, because we've had to go into the dumpster dives of information and on the dark web and go into all these conspiracy theories for 20 years, or what they labeled conspiracy theories, to actually find real information because they kept it from us for so long. I feel like we're in a place where if Trump's doing it, and you got Kash Patel, and you got Pam Bondi, and you got all these people, you actually have a transparent presidency, FBI, DOJ, CIA. You've got people that are working for you for the first time, probably since Reagan.
Yep. I agree with you 100% on that. And like I said, I think this is some free corn you can take. But going back to the tariffs, it's not only the $2,000 rebate he's talking about. I don't know if anybody has seen this week because you've had other news cover it up. But Trump is also using, during the government shutdown, using the a chunk of the tariff money to pay for WIC and SNAP, to make sure these people who are on WIC and SNAP get their benefits so they can, get food and.
Absolutely. That's great.
That's awesome. So I'm going to get to a point here with it in a second, but it also, I'd seen that he was also going to use that tariff money to pay for the military personnel who are on duty right now, who are not getting any government pay, that he was going to pay them with tariff money. So two things with that. Number one, everybody was like, tariffs is awful. Tariffs is horrible. Well, you're probably going to get $2,000.
Yeah. They're scared to death, but guess what? We found ourselves in a position with the government shutdown.
I guarantee you,
we were losing things that we need, and guess what came to save your ass?
Yep, tariffs. I guarantee. Yeah, exactly. I guarantee you, these people who are all against tariffs and Trump and tariffs and blah blah blah, I guarantee you they're going to suck that $2,000 up, and they're going to use it. They're going to spend it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want the damn tariffs, then send the money to a patriot who needs that money, who can use that money, who appreciates that money. If you if you're against tariffs,
what's sad.
But the other thing too is, one second. The other thing too is, with Trump doing this and paying for WIC, SNAP, and military personnel's paychecks out of these tariffs, what does that show you?
It shows me that the Democrats are freaking assholes for continuing to keep the government shut down, because they're actually utilizing Trump's tariff plan as a way to extend their means.
That's a good point too, but it also shows you that, look, we don't need the Federal Reserve. We don't need the IRS. We can make so much off tariffs that you wouldn't have to tax the people. We can make so much off tariffs that we could end the Federal Reserve, just like Q says.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Why,
Actually,
why do we need to borrow money? Why should we be in debt?
Yeah.
With the tariff situation the way it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
you would just
this
need
is a government shutdown, people, and we're still making shit tons of money that we can pay public benefits and pay military.
That's your president,
payroll.
President Trump, tariff revenue that is allowing for these things still to continue for everyday Americans.
And you know what? If you got a problem
that's
with
never
that,
happened before.
if you got a problem with that, then right here.
A little bit of fuck you.
Yeah. Because that is awesome, in my opinion.
So what you see is the announcement and the funding allocation for this. President Trump coming out October 7th through the 9th. White House confirmed it would use approximately $300 million, in existing tariff revenue to keep WIC operational during the shutdown. This follows earlier statement that over $200 million in tariff income would be directed. Okay, so there's the funds are described as leftover to the tide over the program, which supports about 7 million low-income mothers and children. So there's $2 billion, initial report, $300 million. I think it's still going to be up to $200 billion. Whatever it takes, I think President Trump and his administration is going to get it done. No matter what anybody says, whether you may look for it or what it may say. But I think the number is $200 billion. And if you're a businessman, I mean, do you need to use the $200 billion? I don't think you want to. If you don't have to. If you can keep everybody sustained for less, then why not? You're still keeping everybody sustained.
Well, and let's see how long this shutdown actually lasts.
Yeah, we'll see, man. So I got a little video that kind of goes with that. It's only 40 seconds long. But they're saying, we were talking about that as far as the government shutdown. They're saying that it will last. There's no votes that's going to happen until Tuesday. We know that. So there's October 12th. But you had Speaker Mike Johnson. He came out and he was talking about October 18th. This is a little bit related to the No Kings rally, talking about Democrats. And I think there'll be a little bit of commentary for us after this. Are the Democrats afraid of Antifa?
A very patient guy, but I have had it with these people. They're playing games with real people's lives. The theory we have right now, they have a Hate America rally that's scheduled for October 18th on the National Mall. It's all the pro-Hamas wing and the Antifa people. They're all coming out. Some of the House Democrats are selling T-shirts for the event, and it's being told to us that they won't be able to reopen the government until after that rally because they can't face their rabid base. I mean, this is serious business hurting real people. And I'm beyond words. I can't believe they're actually doing this.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, you're talking about that No Kings rally. Real quickly before we move on.
So there you go. That's Speaker Mike Johnson. And he was saying, basically to me, it sounded like to me as like an everyday American. I'm just telling you, it sounds like, some of the Democratic leaders, they're afraid of this, No Kings movement and Antifa and all the shit that's going on. Like they want to keep it shut down until after this happens. Is that the way you took it or am I crazy?
No, it's kind of like what I was thinking with it too, possibly.
Yeah.
Again, it's something.
Like, what's really going on there, dude?
Yeah.
Like why, you know what I mean? Like why are you waiting until the 18th?
What's really going on? There's a lot of stuff right now that I'm looking at. Like, what's really going on here? I mean, like,
there's so much that doesn't make sense. It feels like another Sunday night football game. Nobody knows. I know you don't watch football, but nobody knows what the hell's going on in this league this year, dude. Because things are happening that just don't happen.
But it's definitely a historic time to be alive, in my opinion. What do you say we get into some Pam Bondi?
Absolutely.
So,
God, she killed him.
Yeah, Bondi, like she went like apeshit on Durbin, but she called out. Let me see if I've got that one here. I think I do. Actually, let's play this one first. She's talking about Antifa. I thought this was fire.
Oh, real quick.
Yep. And I think you got one after this.
Well, real quick, I did want to add in before we jump into the Pam Bondi. I just remembered you also got to add in. We were talking about Trump and his tariffs. Who's it bailing out, WIC, SNAP programs, and everything like that. And I forgot to mention, what about the farmers? Did you hear about the bailouts for farmers and automakers that President Trump is going to use for tariffs?
No.
My God, over 186 billion. So it's soybean crops and stuff. They're facing a lot of issues this year. And President Trump is yet again another example of where he is there for your soybean farmers and your agriculture people. He is there with tariff money to be able to help them out to get to the next crop season. That is yet another one where President Trump's tariffs came in to help the American people. Sorry, I didn't want to sidetrack. I just wanted to add that in.
All right. Let's watch this one with Bondi and Antifa.
To operate in the open because weak Democrats have turned a blind eye to their actions. Their hatred for President Trump and for law and order agendas fuels their violence. We've seen more than 1,000% increase in attacks against our ICE agents since January 20th. Secretary Noem is out there fighting for you firsthand to keep our federal officers safe, to keep our federal buildings safe, and we're not going to have it anymore, these thugs. We saw what's happening in Portland and Chicago, and you saw what happened in Dallas. No longer. This is not activism, it's anarchy. We can't and we will not let masked terrorists burn our buildings, attack our law enforcement, and intimidate our communities. Under your leadership, President Trump, we're deploying the full might of the federal law enforcement to crack down on Antifa and other domestic terrorist organizations led by Stephen Miller. And Stephen, thank you for everything you're doing. Last week, I issued a memo ordering our federal law enforcement agents, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, and ATF to protect ICE officers from Antifa and other radical left-wing violence. Director Patel has been going non-stop. He and Deputy Attorney General Blanche were in Chicago yesterday. While Secretary Noem was in Portland, we are around this country fighting against this domestic terrorism. We had Apple and Google take down the ICE block apps. Hope they continue to comply with that. It's threatening the safety of our federal law enforcement officers. We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom.
Join ICE with...
Now, that's a huge statement, what she said right there at the end, dude. From the top to the bottom, destroying the entire Antifa organization. I mean, that's huge, dude. You're talking about, I think in the Q world, we're seeing, what does that relate to? RICO. You know, there's a lot of that going on. So Q world's lighting up on that one, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought that was straight fire right there, what she was talking about with Antifa and what's his name? Got attacked.
Nick Sorter?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Sorter, man. So he's been in the news, and we went over a little bit of that actually in our last episode about Nick Sorter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think you got a follow-up clip to that, don't you?
I do have a follow-up clip. Excuse me. If you want to play your video of what went down with Nick Sorter, was that? No,
that was what I had. So you can jump into your Nick Sorter one now.
So Nick Sorter, we were talking about last week, and everybody, maybe you've seen it in your feeds, maybe you didn't, but anyway, Nick Sorter basically, as an independent journalist, he was trying to protect the American flag during Antifa riots and stuff like that that's going on. They're trying to burn it, and he stepped in, and he stomped the fire out, and he tried to save it, not only on one occasion, but on two separate occasions. Well, eventually, he was arrested, and put in jail, and they came to him, and they
it's kind of crazy they arrested him and didn't arrest
him. Yeah, dude, they arrested him, which was
said he was the only one in there, I think, too, wasn't he?
Well, what was funny is one of the statements he made in his arrest videos. He said, "I can't wait until President Trump sees this." And what happened? Well, President Trump and Pam Bondi saw this. Here's the video of what went down.
Wait till Daddy finds out.
Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after
That's right. I saw
there it is.
Took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is.
So why don't you give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
Yeah. I actually have a
There it
second
is.
flag that he tried to burn as well.
Prosecution
So
on
I
the
have two of
spot.
them from
Well,
the
you
same
also
guy.
saw what happened when that flag started burning. Everyone went crazy. And that's when it started, when they started burning the flag. So thank you. If you could give the information, it would be great.
Absolutely.
And at least that horrible night made you famous. You got
He was
something.
already-
I got a text from the President of the United States, so I appreciate that.
And President Trump.
I wonder if that flag was going to end up in the Smithsonian or something like that.
It's a possibility, man. Depends on how big this goes. It's one of the first, real events where you see somebody actually protecting the American flag for the first time in a long time since Democratic administrations. I love to see it. I'm glad to see somebody out there fighting for the American flag. But in that video, you saw two key moments, right? First was President Trump on the spot basically was going for accountability, dude. He said, "Who's his name? Do you know who it is who did this?" And Nick Sorter said, "Absolutely. Give the name to Pam Bondi, and we're going to start the prosecution on this asshole." And, number two was, well, I forgot number two. I had a number two. It was fabulous.
You got to make notes while you're.
I do, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, we have little note things here. I gotta start using this.
Damn, we are 45 minutes into the show, and we're just getting into.
We're getting into the beginning of it. Right
we're just in the very tip top of the quick talking points we were going to go over, and 45 minutes. We still have a whole entire show that we got to try to get through. I don't know if we're going to be able to get
other videos on Pam Bondi. You want to move through real quick?
We can do that. I don't know if we're going to get through everything that we've got lined up tonight, guys. We are going to try to. We're trying to keep it around 3 hours tonight if we can. Depends on how we're feeling. If we want to go a little over 3 hours, we may go over 3 hours. But I've got family in, so I'm trying to keep it around 3 hours at tops. But anyway, let's get into some more Pam Bondi videos.
Start off on that Pam Bondi with Dick Durbin. Did you see that exchange, dude?
Before we get into that one, I want to get into the other one with Pam Bondi. She's let's see. I think I've got it up here. Nope, you have to bear with me 1 second because I have to remove some stuff from stage here.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here
huge, man.
For a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from
Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after.
I think that was my fault.
That's okay. No, that was okay. That was a little bit. I mean, maybe give you a little time to find the video you're looking for.
I've got
what happened in that.
Look,
one.
my mouse for some reason it'll just randomly across the screen, and I was trying to click to remove a slide, and it went to the right side of the screen and clicked on that, and I'm like, oh. Did I click that?
That's okay, man. Well, that's a good video actually played in line with the government shutdown and what's going on. These are some of the effects. If you need a little time to find a video, go ahead. I can talk about this one for a little bit.
All right. Give me 1 second here.
It's absolutely heartbreaking, actually, what you see there, and I'm prior service military, and you see military members lining up with their family, going to food pantries because they're not able, to get some of these benefits and stuff. And of course, President Trump's working on this, and he's getting all this stuff took care of. But to see that, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And that was what was happening, before Trump started to get what was going on with what he was doing out of the tariff revenue. To be able to pay the military and the food stamps, and you got that going on right now, and it's an absolute tearjerker for me. Now, maybe in military, I understand how it works. If you're in the military, you get certain pay and things like that, extra pay. I know how that works under the UCMJ and everything, but to be able to see military members showing up and supporting their family, that's it's great to see that those guys are showing up when your family's down the dumps and you're there as a protector and a provider and you're doing what you need to do to be able to help out. But it's also sad to see that that's actually going on in the world today, because we are on almost day 10 of the government shutdown. And this is some of the unfortunate effects that you're seeing from that, it doesn't sit well with me.
Neither does it me. I've got the video pulled up here, ready to go.
Let's go.
This is Pam Bondi. Well, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. Just watch this.
Ballard, longtime backer and head of the law firm where you worked, was instrumental in lobbying the Justice Department to drop that lawsuit. It was dismissed, so it's not subject to a court review. What conversation did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a
conversations
career
with
prosecutor.
Mr.
Don't you
Ballard.
ever challenge my
Jesus.
integrity.
Had
I have
apparently-
abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General, and anything
You'll
with
answer that
my
question to
former
another of my
firm,
colleagues.
Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
Good.
She took-
God, firestorm, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
I mean, as Democrats, this has got to be one of the dumbest moves you think you could ever pull, because you're going against the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who has connections.
And on
to
top of that,
cash
he
grab
actually lied
all
and
the
went
information.
and came out and apologized about his lie with his military service.
I know. I mean, you're going to try to.
And she's like, "You have the
scream at
the
Pam Bondi.
audacity to question me about my integrity when you lied about your military service and you had to come out on public TV and apologize."
Yeah, you're literally talking to the person who has all the freaking receipts, most likely knows a majority of your secrets. And you think it's a good move to go over there and try to give that lady hell. You, my friend, are
The
an
demons
absolute
can't
dumbass, dude.
The demons can't preach to the angels.
You can't, man. You can't. But she got plumb nasty with him, and I love to see it, you know?
Yep. Absolutely. I've got let's see, I think I got one more from Bondi here, and this one was, I love this one. I ended up putting some extra bonus content at the end of this one here, just because I thought it kind of fit with the theme of what she's talking about in this. But check Pam Bondi out in this.
Ballard,
Right.
longtime backer and head of the law firm where you worked, was instrumental in lobbying the Justice Department.
Oh wait, wrong one. Sorry. Let me do that again. There we go. Wait. How the hell did I get played? I never played that. Anyway, let's do it again.
The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect
She goes-
from this administration.
she goes napalm
A
right here.
simple question as to whether or not they had a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack. I think it's a legitimate question. It's my responsibility. She refuses to answer as to whether she had any conversation with the White House about deploying national troops to my state. That's an indication, I'm afraid, where we are politically in this place.
The National Guard is on the way right now as we speak. Oh, by the way, so is Director Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Bam.
You're sitting here grilling me, and they're on their way to Chicago to keep your
Receipt.
state safe.
Madam Attorney General, it's my job to grill you.
So run, you cur! Run! Tell all the other curs the law's coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Oh my God, Tombstone.
Yeah, when I watched that clip and she was like talking about Cash and what's his name coming with or going down there in the National Guards and stuff like that. That's what I thought of was Tombstone. You tell him I'm coming and hell's coming with me. So I'm like, I got to throw
I
that
think
in at
that's
the end.
exactly where we are, man. Because again, like with the last couple episodes, the key word for me is we are in Red October. The key word is accountability, and I still continue to see it everywhere.
Yep. Speaking of Red October, we can do us a little bit of Red October here. Let me remove that and get my next clip ready to
I
go.
do have
behind
more
this.
Bondi videos as well.
Oh, okay. All right, go right ahead and play the Bondi videos. I'm gonna
Okay.
get,
Well, here's a quick one. Okay, here's a quick one for you guys. We'll go ahead and play. This is Pam Bondi absolutely destroying Senator Whitehouse. And guess what? Epstein's name comes up in this one. See how it goes.
Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those?
Look at that face. She's ready to kill him.
Their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise. Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with...
God damn. Dropping bombs, dude. Reid Hoffman's been with George Soros and Reid Hoffman. They've definitely been in the news here lately with the Soros connection into Antifa funding and connected to Epstein. So there's all kinds of nasty. She's dropping bombs on that one, dude. I got another little one. Did you see her with Adam Shifty Schiff?
Nope, I don't think I have. So,
oh man, this is a great one. You know, I couldn't wait to see those googly eyes of Adam Schiff, you know, because she definitely gave it to him, dude.
Was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So
and,
was she?
You know,
was
Senator
she?
Schiff,
Was she?
If
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your
we can stipulate to you can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks. You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
But we're interested in.
Borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these.
He's scared to let her talk.
You were asked by my colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question. You were asked by my colleague from Vermont whether you will support providing a video or audio tape, if it exists, of Mr. Holman taking $50,000 in bribe money from the FBI. Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tape or tapes to the committee? Yes or no?
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
Well, I'm talking to you about it. You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision.
I call that chain of command.
Tell me what is my decision and what is not my decision. I said you
don't
talk
have
to Director
you don't have to try to.
You don't go straight to the top of those questions. Anybody in the military knows that.
Who's been out there fighting for our country since Donald Trump took office.
I'm trying to ask a question. Regular order, please. And you don't have to defer to the FBI director to pass the buck. So I'm asking you, will you support a request so that the committee, or indeed I believe the American people, should be able to see that video or audio tape? Will you support that request?
Will you apologize to Donald Trump for trying to impeach him?
I guess the answer is you won't support that
after
request.
You now know that you're trying to cover up Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
Let me do this because
it got nasty, dude. I'm telling you, I've only got just a couple more. They're only 20 seconds or whatever, but I do.
Oh, play them. Go ahead.
My God, she eviscerated and dropped receipts and bombs all over this committee hearing, dude. Here's Pam Bondi on Dick Durbin. Check this one out.
Question. Your city has a murder rate 5 times higher than New York's. 571 homicides last year. If you were serious about protecting your people, you would be asking this administration for help. You're saying that we're coming into your state and your city. We're there to help make America safe and Illinois safe, whether or not you want to.
Damn. Mm-hmm. And then here's one quick 19-second one to follow it up. This is Pam Bondi calling out on a live interview talking about the Democrats who are responsible for the shutdown. And we all know they keep trying to say it's Republicans, but there's a little bit more to that, the shutdown.
Senator Klobuchar, I'm not going to discuss personnel decisions, but the personnel issue that I'm having right now is that all of my agents, all of my lawyers are working. My agents are on the street working without a paycheck because your party voted to shut down the federal government.
Damn.
Yep. You are absolutely correct that there's more to it than just
There is, because you got like the clean CR bill is what basically the president's or the Republicans have presented was a clean CR bill, and a CR bill, that's just a continuing resolution, okay? And it allows them to get more time, okay? A week or 2 weeks to be able to keep the government open and continue to be able to pay everybody that needs to be paid, military, WIC, SNAP, all the programs and everything like that, right? Gets into the red herring? Sure does. But a clean CR with the continuing resolution. Here's the funny thing about it, and I do want to say this. Hakeem Jeffries, who you guys have seen all over in the feed, is somebody who voted during the Biden administration. At least 6 times he voted to pass this very same bill that they are voting no on right now. And in my eyes, there's no way around that. If you voted for this at least 6 times before and passed it, then why in the fuck are you not doing it now? Democrats are responsible for the shutdown.
Yep.
Go ahead and jump into the herring, my friend.
Yeah, I think you got a pizza.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe a hot dog.
I was referring to your doorbell.
Oh, the doorbell. Oh, yeah. No, that's my clock. That's my clock. That's my clock.
I know. I just keep calling it a doorbell. But anyway, yeah. Let's jump into this, like what you were talking about there with what she was saying. And, you know, what Mike Johnson, like, I love this. I was watching this with Mike Johnson, and he mentions one of the things, or a couple of things he mentioned in this kind of struck a chord with me. And he mentions red herring, and he mentions lights off. And I've got down there on the bottom of that, underneath of it, and White Hunters Become the Hunted, Red October on the right side of the screen. But there was a lot that kind of played around that, what he says in this little clip I've got here. So let's give this a play and check this out.
Leads me to fact number 2. Fact number 1 was how we got here. Fact number 2 is, why are we in this mess? Why did Chuck Schumer change his tune, and why is he now saying exactly the opposite of what he said 6 months ago?
Exactly.
A picture's worth 10,000 words, okay? This is a copy of the Washington Examiner. Zoom in on that, all right? If you can't see this at home, I just had this on my desk on a big stack, and I found it. This is published March of 2025, March 26 exactly. It's a picture of Chuck Schumer looking very upset, very angry, walking out with a box. And all the House Democrats depicted their character, saying that he's an enemy of democracy. Why is he an enemy of democracy? Because the far left base in the Democrat Party has turned on Chuck Schumer because he did the responsible thing, get the lights on. Why? Because they want him to show a fight against President Trump. So Schumer doesn't want to be in this situation again. So he said, my gosh, he got his staff together and he got the far left wing of the party. He said, what do you want? What do you want me to fight on? So they created a red herring. A red herring is a distraction. They decided that they would pick a fight on health care. Well, let me look right into the camera and tell you very clearly, Republicans are the ones concerned about health care. Republicans are the party working around the clock every day to fix health care. This is not talking points for us. We've done it. A big part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, was to fix health care. Health care is broken in America. It's too expensive. The quality of care needs to rise. We need more access for more people, and we have lots of ideas to do that. But that issue is for debate in the next 3 months. It always was. We have members working on that. The tax credit, the subsidy you've heard about that expires December 31st, there's a lot of thoughtful debate and discussion that has already been going on about that and will go on about that. But that's a December 31 issue. So Chuck Schumer is scrambling. He has to have an issue. None of their policies are very popular, so they decided to lob onto health care. And he decided to claim to all of you that that is the issue with government funding. It is not. Those are 2 totally separate things. The clean continuing resolution would simply keep the lights on, so that the members in the House and Senate can have those debates on health care. We were always planning, and we have lots of ideas on the table on how to fix it, but we don't yet have consensus on it because it's very complicated.
All right. So 2 of the things he said in there was red herring and keep the lights on, which reminded me of a couple Q drops here. I'm going to start with lights off. This is 1 second. This is Q 1602, and I've got the whole drop here. I've got it split into two sides, but Q says in 1602, if you want to continue to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that. Well, I should have, my highlight thing kind of didn't go all the way over on that. But anyway, if you want to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that we are prepared. You should know this based on earlier drops, RE, Saudi Arabia, National Guard, military intelligence, assist active U.S. soil. So that alone right there, National Guards and, military on U.S. soil, that's like kind of what we're snowballing toward right now, in my opinion. What you say, Parabellum? Insurrection Act?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're working towards the ability to use the Insurrection Act if President Trump feels he needs to.
Yep. And I had a clip on that. May play it, may not play it. But anyway, Q goes on to say, the game is over when the public knows. The fight to keep the lights off. And that's what they're doing right now, is trying to fight to keep the lights off. That's what they were doing with, shutting down the government, in my opinion. I think possibly, in my opinion, that's what Q was getting at. I don't know. But, that's just my thoughts. But the fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to you. You will fail. And then one of the other things I wanted to highlight in this drop is further on down here, Q says, we will declass. We will shine light. There is nowhere to hide. And we're seeing a lot of declassified information come out right now.
Absolutely. Amelia Earhart being the most recent, getting ready to come to. Can't wait for that.
And then, back up toward the top of this in green, where I've got highlighted there toward the bottom of the green part, the game is over when the public knows. And I think of the bulk of the public knows what's up, knows what's going on, knows they've been lied to for many years.
Yeah.
And the people are awake. So, that's kind of what it made me think of when he said lights. They're trying to keep the lights on, and it made me think the Democrats are trying to keep the lights off with the shutdown. So I thought that was kind of a little bit of a Q tie-in, something noteworthy. Maybe not, but
absolutely.
One of the other things. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong slide. That's a slide I meant to bring up next. Red herring. So I've got highlighted in red here. Definition of red herring, and this is going to go into hunters become the hunted. It's kind of what I've got out of this that hit me when I read this red herring definition. But the term comes from a practice of dragging a strongly scented cured red herring across a scented trail to distract hunting dogs, training them to stay on the actual target. So hunting dogs, training them to stay on target. Red herring, I don't know, maybe you could probably take that two ways. Maybe Johnson was really getting at the fact that the Democrats were trying to create a red herring, or maybe he was hinting at the fact that this mentions that's what it was used for, was hunting dogs. And it made me think of hunters become the hunted, which goes into this Red October Q here. And we had this on last Friday's show. But this is Q 4800, and I tried to pull this up, like really big for last week's show so you could see it all. But I finally managed to actually save a good resolution image of it from QAG. But this is Q 4800, and Q says Red October, and he's got a mock-up. Q has a mock-up movie poster. Again, I'll read this like I did last week. Below the depths of the DC swamp, the hunt is on. And it says the invisible war for the future of the Republic. The tables have now turned, which have they not turned? It seems like it to me that they have turned quite a bit. And you've heard Trump mention this phrase quite often lately. Hunters become the hunted. And right there it is in the Q drops and the mock-up movie poster that Q had put out. Hunters become the hunted. Patriots in control. So I think this whole entire shutdown, in my opinion, is a Patriot-controlled thing that is happening. And the White Hats have controlled the shutdown. It was planned, part of the plan possibly, to have the shutdown, because what are we seeing right now? Trump's, firing a lot of these people, draining the swamp. And what have we said on this show many times? If you want accountability, we have to get rid of the corrupt people in place, because otherwise, what's going to happen when you bring these people up for trial?
Yeah, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
That's what, it's insane, dude, that, and I'm with Trump on as far as he can't believe that the Democrats would allow this for the government shutdown, that they would allow Russell Vought and President Trump to become the executive decisions of everything that happens on with the reduction in forces and the reduction in bureaucrats and everything that's going on today. But you were talking about that video, man, and this is something that's kind of been floating around the web. That video, one of the things I heard Speaker Johnson, he was speaking about was the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And if you guys have been following, last week I told you a story about on the first day of the shutdown, people putting out comments, and I got into a little bit of a Facebook war. And one of my responses is, do you guys not understand that they're slow walking you into the repeal of the Obamacare Act? And that was something I definitely wanted to bring back up on the show, because there's been more to it. And if you've been watching your Facebook feeds or your X feeds or whatever it is, any of your social media feeds, you've started to see a whole lot of things happening with the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And I think we're getting ready to walk into an idea where I think it's acceptable that we will repeal it and put in a, let's call it the Trump RX care plan. Okay. So you may be able to see a Trump care plan, but here's the thing about Obamacare. It's been a huge fallacy for a lot of people. And I think the American people are starting to wake up, and they're starting to understand that Obamacare, yeah, it's all great and it's good and everybody's insured and covered. But at the end of the day, they're starting to wake up and they're saying, wait a minute, this isn't the Affordable Care Act. This is the Unaffordable Care Act. Okay. The only reason that it stayed open is because of subsidies that allowed it to stay open. Let's go a little bit into a little bit of Grok AI information. The Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, has faced ongoing debates about its cost, especially with enhanced premium subsidies set to expire at the end of 2025. So where we, at the end of this year, you're going to see, the expiration of, what was it, the Inflation Reduction Act it was added into, and all this shit going on with Obamacare. And it was because of the subsidies that were passed through that were, enabled it to continue. But at the end of 2025, I don't think you're going to see that coming out of President Trump's administration. I think you're going to see, hopefully, the end, honestly, for me, of Obamacare, and replace it with something better. I think President Trump can do something that's more affordable, and it's actually true to its name, without subsidies, and he can do a better job.
Well, he's all, we top of the show, we were talking about this with him, his announcement tonight with lowering prescription costs, and then, bringing,
yes.
What's the company?
That's what you're seeing. AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca. Yeah.
AstraZeneca, you see a lot of the big pharma and a lot of the moves that are happening right now, and you're looking towards the end of 2025 when those subsidies, they go away, and you talk about the 1,000% reduction that was just created with, who was it, Pfizer, and President Trump just made an announcement to create for multiple medications that are actually going to be fair across the board, across nations, because the America been mistreated poorly.
Yeah, as of now, we're paying like what is it, double or more than what other nation, and a lot of these pharmaceuticals, or some of these pharmaceuticals, are made in our own country and going out to other countries, and they pay less for them, and we're paying more for them.
Absolutely. And I think you're being actually, this is a slow walk moment of where people need to slowly open their eyes to understand that Obamacare is not affordable. It's the Unaffordable Care Act. Okay. Just to go a little bit more into those subsidies, I want to tell you, introduced in 2021 under the American Rescue Plan and extended through 2025 via the Inflation Reduction Act, these tax credits have capped premiums of 8.5% of income for eligible households and made plans free or low cost for money. Okay. But here's the deal I want to tell you. What about the hidden costs that can come with Obamacare? Here's the hidden costs. Enrollments hit 24 million in 2025, and that's doubling since 2021, largely due to those subsidies we're talking about. 92% of enrollees receive them. Here's the argument. Critics argue the ACA's mandates and structure have driven up unsubsidized premiums, okay, with high deductibles, making routine care unaffordable even for insured individuals. So as far as this goes, for me, I think people are truly waking up to the idea, because it was like, oh my gosh, Obama said it was good. We can't go against that. Blah.
Yeah.
Okay, and a whole lot more information's come out, and experiences have happened with these hidden costs and these subsidies and all of the bills that have been passed to be able to make it happen. And it is not actually turning out to be a good thing, dude.
It's like everything right now with what Trump's doing and the left. They're all like, meh, everything he does, and try to put out propaganda about this shit.
Yeah, you're telling me Obama and his team can make a better medical care plan than a businessman with a President Trump administration? Me personally, my personal opinion, I don't think you can do it better than Trump and his administration. Okay, I don't think you do. And if you don't believe that this is actually a topic that's going around, check your social feeds. But check out Andy Biggs. He just put out HR 114, a bill that he's actually trying to pass. And if you look at the bottom of this right here, I'll read it out for you. It's a little hard to read, but at the bottom, look up HR 114, Andy Biggs. He's passing the bill, and this act may be cited as the quotations responsible path to full Obama repeal act.
Ooh, yeah.
So I just found that interesting that on day one of the shutdown of everybody's comments, and they're talking about, medical care going to illegal immigrants, that my initial response was, hey, Obamacare is getting ready to go. Y'all don't know that yet? Welcome to the show.
All that makes me think of it like 10 Days Dark, and then Q saying dark to light. Like when we come out of this shutdown, I don't know, maybe it'll last 10 days, maybe it'll last longer than 10 days, but I do believe that once we come out of this shutdown, it's going to be a dark to light situation to where we were in the dark and now we're starting to come into the light because all these people are being fired. This whole entire Obamacare is being dealt with.
There's a whole lot of accountability.
Trump's got his nominees, a lot of his nominees in place, and I don't think there's many more of his nominees left to put into place now.
There's not. I think they had they snuck in a row of 70, and then it went up to 107. So, that's during the government shutdown. They're still getting shit done.
We've been talking about the accountability phase past couple episodes, and I think that we are actually getting ready to dive into the accountability phase. Like I said, Comey and what's her name? Letitia James.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Is that who got indicted? Was it Letitia James?
Letitia James was indicted on.
I think they were low hanging fruit. There'll be a lot more, in my opinion, on Comey because there's a lot of shit that Comey has done. But I think these indictments on Comey and Letitia James, again, are just, like they were low hanging fruit. It's indictments to where they can test the waters and see what these Biden judges are going to do. Biden appointed, Obama appointed judges. But I think we're getting ready to come into a full accountability phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll start seeing some bigger indictments, bigger cases.
With the Letitia James thing, I do have
bigger stuff being exposed.
I really do. Like, I don't know, maybe you have some questions about it. I do. With the LGBTQ plus, I can't remember what his name was, Walker, an African-American judge that was a Biden appointee, LGBTQ plus positive, stands for that. And this is going to be out of Virginia, I guess, where they're going against Letitia James. Is it going to be a smack on the wrist, Hex, or is this going to be accountability? I mean,
well, again, like I think, was it the pre-show we talked about this with these Biden appointed and Obama appointed judges, and I was saying that, maybe like I was saying just a second ago, Trump is trying to feel out what these judges are going to do because he's giving them a case that if you have 2 fucking brain cells, you can see that these people are guilty.
Like, it's never up to hang yourself.
The bulk of America can see these people are guilty.
Yeah.
What are these? Let's see what these left-wing appointed judges do. Is that what Trump's getting at with this?
Yeah.
Just to kind of feel them out to see, how they're going to play. Like, we're giving you a case that is solid. Here it is. are you going to fuck it up and show the people how corrupt you are, or are you going to prosecute the case?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a way to kind of show your cards and see who you are as a person or a judge or whatever it may be. You know, are you a rhino? Are you liberal? Or, you know, are you good or are you bad? I mean, yeah, definitely. I could see that as being a possibility for sure.
But that was my thoughts behind it anyway.
You know, some of the big stuff that came out of that meeting, dude, if you don't remember, some of the big stuff that came out of the Pam Bondi ordeal was that there was Senator Lindsey Graham and a bunch of people that were asking about Arctic frost. You know, we've heard about Arctic frost and we've reported it here on the show. And there's actually a little bit of a follow-up that happened with Arctic frost. If you've been staying tuned with us, 8 senators and 92 organizations, Republican organizations, were spied upon. Did you hear about that, Hex?
Yeah, I did. And actually, that's kind of interesting. I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, the whole 8 thing.
Yeah.
But have you got something on that?
I do a little bit. We'll start off and explain a little bit about what's going on. So during the Pam Bondi meeting, a lot of this came up, but this is Senator Lindsey Graham. He is livid. He's absolutely pissed about his name being one of the people that were spied upon. And then we're going to go into a little bit of Josh Hawley, explaining a little bit more about some of the organizations that were targeted. And if you guys have been following it, TPUSA and 92 other conservative networks under the Biden administration, under the guise of Arctic frost, were actually being spied upon by the Biden administration. Totally illegal, treasonous, seditionist conspiracy at its finest. Here we go. Check it out.
You wonder why we're looking at Comey? Give me a break. Why are we looking at Comey? Because he ran an FBI and personally knew about exculpatory information and let it slide. How in the hell can 2 FBI agents interview a man who says the document you're using against a sitting president to suggest he may be a Russian agent or Carter Page that is now no longer reliable? How does that not get to the court? Can you tell me how that doesn't get to the court? You can't, can you?
I can't, Senator. And
Can you tell me why my phone records, when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents? Why did they ask to know who I called and what I was doing from January 4th to the 7th? Can you tell me that?
No, Senator. And there were 8 senators in total.
Yeah. So there you go. You got a pissed off Graham. You know, and he's not mad at Pam Bondi. I think he's mad at the situation.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. Graham is heavily mentioned in the Q drops also.
Absolutely.
Actually, I can, if you guys just want to take a peek, I'm not going to read all of these, but I'm going to share my screen just to give you a quick little slide through of how much Graham is mentioned in the Q drops.
Okay.
Let's see, QAG, share. And let me add that to stage here real quick. Bam and bam. Okay, so I just typed in Graham, which it highlights, what I'm looking for. But Graham, why it matters. Graham is now sweeping the authority to subpoena documents and more than 50 individuals related to the Russia investigation. I mean,
he has an absolute right to be pissed. I don't blame him.
But there are tons here of drops that mention Graham. Stay in the light, remain in the open comms with Senator Graham and GRASSLEY. We've went over GRASSLEY a lot. Whistleblower Protection Act. They will take your phone calls, but
yeah,
there are tons of drops that mention GRASSLEY and Graham both. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
And we're still scrolling. So let me get all the way to the bottom here. Okay. So it's just one page, but that's just a quick scroll through of how many times Graham is mentioned in the Q drop. So I think Graham is a key player in this, in my opinion.
I think he is too, man. You got, so why is he so pissed? what's going on. So we've talked about Arctic Frost, and this was some of the fruits of the labor from the FBI investigation. Kash Patel and Pam Bondi doing their jobs. They followed up leads on Arctic Frost. And here's your list, okay, of the senators that had their phones tapped. Okay, Mike Kelly, Lindsey Graham, right there he is. Bill Magerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Blackburn. All of these people had their phones tapped. Like, if this ain't Watergate 5.0, I don't know what is, man. This is absolutely illegal. You should not be able to do this, and there should be criminal charges. And I hope to God Pam Bondi does what she says she's going to do, and I'm sure she will. She'll follow Kash Patel, and they're going to be going after charges.
If Trump has faith in Bondi, I have faith in Bondi.
Absolutely, dude. So as far as that goes, here's Josh Hawley, and he kind of sums it up a little bit more, and he brings in some of the organizations that were followed, including Turning Point USA, under the guise of Arctic Frost, being followed.
Senate Judiciary Committee member just stepped out of that hearing. What did you hear from Dan Bongino and the FBI last night on this?
Well, what I know, Bill, is that they targeted the DOJ, the Biden DOJ specifically targeted a group of us. They asked for our call records so they could see who we talked to, who called us. I believe also track our location over a period of days. This is outrageous. I mean, this is really unbelievable. It's blatantly unconstitutional. It's a violation of the First Amendment. It's a violation of the separation of powers. And it also goes to show you the extent to which the Biden administration was so corrupt, using the FBI to target their political enemies. And let's not forget, they didn't just do it to senators. They did it to school board parents who went and spoke up at those school board meetings. They did it to 92 conservative organizations, including Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. They tried to recruit spies into Catholic parishes. That's the kind of people we're dealing with here. Bill, we need a total investigation, a thorough investigation into everybody who was responsible. And I think there needs to be prosecutions.
Okay, so
thorough investigation. And that was stuff that came up earlier, right, Hex?
Yep, I agree 100%. And like we were talking about Pam Bondi there, one of the things I do want to point out, I do agree with a thorough investigation, but
top to the bottom, baby.
I don't believe everything is going to be disclosed. This is Q27. Not everything can be publicly disclosed because so much ties back into foreign heads of state. Much will be revealed. We want transparency, but here's the key. We want transparency, but not at a cost we can't recover from. So I honestly think everybody's screaming that nothing's happening or we're not getting enough information or we want to know more and blah, blah, blah. You gotta think.
There's things you can get and things that you just
yes, exactly.
are going to come to light.
We can't have transparency at a cost that we can't recover from.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to toss that out there real quick for all these people going, yeah.
No, definitely. I agree with you, man. I think it's a little bit of a premature, deal for them to be able to kind of put their anger out there. Like, I get it. I understand it 100%. You're upset and you want full transparency. But look, here at the end of the day, full transparency is never going to happen. You're going to get, a high percentage of transparency under the Trump administration, unlike, a very low percentage of transparency in which you'd get under a Democratic administration. But at the end of the day, you have to keep some cards to your chest so you can be able to make moves in the future and protect your ass. That's just how it works.
Yep. Again, I didn't mean to get off topic on that, but that when I was watching that made me think of that drop. So I had to look it up and screenshot it and pull it up real quick.
Well, absolutely. I've got another Lemon video that I might be able to pull up that kind of goes perfect with this. It's a little bit of a long video, but if you've been following the show and it's everything that we're talking about, I've got what I just labeled as a fantastic video by Senator Schmidt, basically explaining everything that's going on with what we're talking about and exposing the truth to people from start to finish in a 5-minute summary. And it is just phenomenal. I would encourage you to watch this. You want to go ahead and watch that, or you got something else, Hex?
Nope, go right for it.
All right, check this out, guys. It's totally worth a watch.
Voice.
I have to say, I am struck by the degree of the cognitive dissonance that I hear on the other side. It really is. I mean, I'm used to sort of the political debates and arguing in court and all those sorts of things. But to hear the other side of the dais talk about weaponization is truly shocking given what we know now. And I thought what I might do is just tell a story. And these are 100% facts. Hillary Clinton, concerned about her email scandal, works with a Soros organization to cook up this Russiagate nonsense. They feed it to the intelligence agencies. And they spy, under Barack Obama's presidency, they spy on the political opponent, the Republican, running against Hillary Clinton. He gets elected. They continue the operation, and they launder this intelligence into stuff that was meant to, by the FBI and the CIA, to sideline a presidency of a duly elected president of the United States of America, to sideline him. And that continued. You heard even some people on this committee further that nonsense for 4 years. And then the FBI is involved with pre-bunking the Hunter Biden laptop story because they didn't want him to get elected again. So they pre-bunked the Hunter Biden laptop story. The American people should have been allowed to make their own judgments from that. They weren't, because the FBI called it a Russian hack and leak operation. They were meeting with social media companies every month and every week, telling them that the laptop that they knew, that they had verified in November of 2019, they knew was real and knew was his, said it was Russian disinformation. We've heard that before. And then, after Joe Biden comes in, 3 days in, they start a censorship campaign against the country, anybody who's a conservative. And now we also know that the FBI was weaponized in this Arctic frost investigation that tapped the phones of sitting U.S. senators. And also, the Republican Attorneys General Association, so let's pull in 2 more U.S. senators, Ashley Moody and myself, who were on the executive committee at that time. Charlie Kirk, political organizations they didn't agree with. This is not in the Soviet Union in the 1980s. This is in the United States of America in the last few years. And then, when they thought President Trump was on the run and there's no way people would elect him, and then he announces he's running for president, 3 days later, Jack Smith's appointed to get Trump. Fannie Willis brings charges against President Trump, and the assistant prosecutor meets with the White House counsel's office. Why would that happen? Then you have Alvin Bragg bring his charges. The number 3 person at DOJ goes to work for him to get Trump. All in the United States of America. This continued. And Senator Hawley asked the question, wrote it down, what is happening in this country? And I hope that MSNBC is still broadcasting this, because I'm sure their viewership hasn't heard this story that's gone on for 10 years. The truth is, they never forgave President Trump for coming down the escalator at all. They didn't like him. They didn't like the disruption. And they've spent the better part of a decade not just going after him, but demonizing half the country as fascists and Nazis and threats to democracy. And they have fueled this division.
I think he puts this perfectly.
Inability to accept the fact that half of the country isn't deplorables, as Hillary Clinton called her, bitter clingers, as Barack Obama called them, or trash, as Joe Biden called them. That they rose up and they sat in their own jury box and they saw all this stuff play out over a decade and they rejected it.
He absolutely said that perfectly.
To clean that up. And you were doing a great job in doing that. And let me make this clear.
The unfortunate fact is that there's a small percentage of America that still doesn't believe
what happened under the Biden regime and the weaponization, and then holding those people accountable. That is not weaponization. If that doesn't happen, this will happen all over again. So your job, as you talked about in your confirmation hearing, is so important that this never happens again. And holding people accountable who are part of this conspiracy is absolutely your job. And I'm also taking, you don't have to comment on this, your unwillingness to answer questions that have come up. I am led to believe, as a former attorney general, that might mean there's an ongoing investigation. You don't have to talk about it. The statute of limitations may have run on some of this stuff, but not on a conspiracy. And if you're a co-conspirator in mile marker 1, even if you want to get on the exit ramp in mile marker 5, you are liable for the conspiracy in mile marker 10. And we...
Damn, did he not put that perfectly, dude? That's one of my favorite moments, actually, to the heart of about what it is that I believe is a conservative Americans, what Senator Schmidt put out right there, dude.
Yep. And Hillary did call us deplorables.
Absolutely called us deplorable. So what was some of the notes? Okay, so there were spies against Trump. Then what happens? Biden gets elected. Okay, and they sidelined the presidency with Arctic Frost and Russiagate. That's what they did. They pre-debunked the laptop story. Democrats, they said it was fake. All Russiagate, Russia. It's not real. Democrats knew it was real because it's been proven since then for declassified emails and documents that have been released. Okay, from Tulsi Gabbard. That's absolutely false. What they said. 3 days into the Biden administration, they started the censoring of Republicans and any and all conservative movements. They tapped the phones of 8 or 9 sitting senators and 92 conservative organizations. Then you got Alvin Bragg and Letitia James going after Trump, mortgage fraud, Biden administration. Now, here's one of the biggest points that I think that he made that people really should take some time to figure out, because if you don't understand this difference, then there's something wrong with your moral compass. It is the difference between the Biden administration doing what they did and what Trump administration is doing what they're doing. And then you try to call the Trump administration weaponization. Holding people accountable is not weaponization. It is not retribution.
But that's what they want to call it, because they want to misinform the public. They want to spread their propaganda.
They do. They're propaganda spread.
Guess what? They lost control.
I don't know how many people that you probably met in your personal lives that maybe they were on a bad track and they were stealing a whole lot, or maybe they were on drugs, or maybe they were doing a lot of bad things. And then something happened and they turned their life around and they got better. You know what happened? Somebody held them accountable and they had to face consequences. That's what the fuck happened. Because if that doesn't happen, then no changes can be made. And that in itself is the difference between weaponization and accountability.
That and the good old fairy tale, or the old saying, the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
The Democrats have cried wolf, wolf, wolf so long. And there's never been a wolf there. Like,
I believe them.
All the wars and stuff like, oh, wolf, wolf, wolf. I was barking like a dog there, but, but what I'm getting at is they've cried wolf for so long, and there's never really been a wolf. And we find out that there never really was a wolf. And they're just like the boy that cried wolf. They're just screaming it to try and get somebody to get, attract their attention. But it's not going to work. They lost control. I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit off on that.
I think you're okay with that, man. I mean, they have been screaming wolf. They've been screaming, a bunch of lies.
Yeah.
A bunch of bullshit,
And people's tired of the lies.
They're absolutely tired of the lies. The American people are waking up. I think Schmidt put it together perfectly, but I've got this for you since you're talking about wolves. Hold on.
Okay.
That's the Democrats, bro. I got you.
That's it. That is the howling.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so
that's how they cry.
If you're really trying to understand what it is as far as the conservative viewpoint that we push here on Same Q's, Different Views, maybe we've got Q drops, maybe we've got logical news, or just a conservative viewpoint without Q. Whatever it is, you see a lot of the same happen, and we come to the same conclusions basically between both these organizations.
Yep.
You're coming to waking up to the realization that you've been lied to for the last 25, 30 years under a Democratic administration.
Probably more.
Yeah, probably more. Absolutely.
But like what Parabellum's getting at there, Same Q's, Different Views. He's a conservative news guy. I'm a Q follower. And a lot of times we come into agreement. Like the bulk of the time we come into agreement on stuff just because we're on two different sides, or not really. I wouldn't say two different sides. What do I want to call that? Two different spectrums. Just because we have two different spectrums and outlooks doesn't mean we're against each other, because we end up usually coming to the same conclusion, with me with the Q drops and Parabellum with the logical news.
Absolutely.
And again with the Q drops, I'm not the best with the Q drops. I've only been following since about 2019, I think, is when I started following and started getting into the Q. And it's took me a while to learn a little bit about it.
Right.
And I've said this on the show many times. I relate stuff that I see to the Q drops that I know. and think they connect. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not right. I'm, you know, I just put information out there and call balls and strikes the way I see them. So, you know,
absolutely. So there's a huge lesson to learn.
Do your own research on anything, you know, even what we say on the show. Do your own research.
Absolutely.
No matter what we put out, come to your own conclusions. And I guarantee you 90% of the time you'll come to the conclusion once you really start digging into it and doing your own research and homework, you will find that we have been lied to, like we were saying just a moment ago, that there's been a corrupt system in place for many, many, many years.
Yeah, man, I can go with you on.
Now you're watching this corrupt system being slowly dismantled.
Absolutely, man. You know, one of the biggest points that I think happens here at Same Cues, Different Views is probably a lesson that I think the Democrats or anybody from the opposition should learn. Okay. And it's exactly what we experience here every day, because like I said, we don't always agree, and we do agree on a lot of points, but we don't always agree.
No, we don't always agree, but
here's the deal. When we disagree without violence.
Yeah.
That's the key point, man. We can have a disagreement.
You can have a debate
to violence. We can debate.
And not kill each other.
A lot of the same point Charlie Kirk put out. You know,
and here's something I like. This always irked me since I've joined X a while back. This has always irked me with Q followers and non-Q followers who also support MAGA, Donald Trump. But I see a lot of Q followers bash MAGA supporters. Just you know, again, we're all MAGA supporters, but I see a lot of Q followers here and there once in a while bash people who don't follow Q, and then I see a lot of people who don't follow Q bash Q followers.
Yeah, it's a vice versa, and but maybe that needs.
The thing is, you got to remember is we're all on the same side. We all want the same thing, and I would never put anybody down for any take they had on Q, or, you know, their thoughts or how they interpret things, because we all see things a little differently. And I've learned this, especially with the Q movement, since I've been in it. I've learned this, that people see things differently. Like I'll look at something and maybe decode and get one Q drop, and then I'll get on X or something like that, or Truth Social, and an anon has like another anon has a completely different code, and another one has another different decode. I mean, it's not all the same, but then there's times that like all of us anons end up coming to the same Q drop based off of a post that Trump or Scavino or somebody else made. We'll all come to the same. We all find ourselves coming to that same drop, and absolutely. You know, but I would never down anybody for their, you know, trying to decode.
No, absolutely not, man. That's where I stand as far as me as a conservative.
And this goes back to what I said. Do your own homework, your own research. If you want to get involved in Q, you know, watch some shows. There's a bunch of them out there. Look them up on Rumble. But do your own homework and your own research, and, you know, see what conclusions you come to.
Yeah.
And we would love to hear from people who are, you know, getting involved in just whether it be Q or whether it be regular politics with a conservative news-based point of view. We would love to hear from you and see what you come up with. I mean, we got a live chat on the show, and speaking of live chat on the show, we got a thumbs up button down there, guys. Please go down, smash it. You know, let us know you like the show. We'll try to keep continuing to do this, and we also have a QR code up there in the top right and left of the screen, and if you screenshot that. Yep, one's for Facebook and one's for X. And if you screenshot that and you go to your photos in your iPhone, I don't know if other phones do it, maybe Androids do it too, but if you go to that screenshot in your photos and hold down on that either one of those QR codes, it'll take you to either our Facebook Same Cues Different Views group or our X account Same Cues Different Views.
Yeah. And what we do is we just drop a lot of conservative news, especially what we do here. You get a conservative feed that's mixed in with Q drops and a little bit of everything that maybe you want to see what's going on in the world today. That is exactly what we focus on. No other bullshit, no other garbage. We drop exactly what's going on in the political world, including Q. So if that sounds like something you want to follow, give us a thumbs up, a like, and hit that QR code, man.
And I do want to thank everybody. Like last week, we had quite a few people watching on Rumble. Everybody that watched on Rumble last week and everybody that's watching tonight, big hat tip to you guys. We don't get a lot of views on SuckTube.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We do get some on Facebook tonight. I'd found out that our show, for some reason, it got set to private, so it's actually streaming on my personal Facebook page. I will share that as soon as the show's over, but we have got a lot of views on Facebook also. And if you're watching on Facebook, hats off to you guys. We appreciate you. And make sure you come back every week and watch the show and hit that like button. But anyway, let's move into some more news here.
Absolutely, man. So where do you want to go? I've got some, I know maybe you're not familiar with this one, but have you seen the Katie Porter meltdown that's going on here recently, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Katie Porter is apparently supposed to be this chick that is in the middle of elections that's getting ready to, she's supposed to replace Gavin Newsom, okay, out there in California, right? And if you don't know Gavin Newsom, that's that fucker.
Gavin
right
Newsom, yeah.
Yeah. He'll fuck
sure.
America like it's his best friend's wife. And if you don't know what that means, he's definitely known into the public eye for banging his best friend's wife. So while he's married, so that's absolutely deplorable, Hillary. We don't believe in that shit on the conservative side of the aisle. But Katie Porter, man. So this has been insane, and to me, it's been actually like this experience of you get to see what Democrats you're actually voting for. This is a testament to their character and what it is that they stand for and how they're so emotional and illogical, and they can't stand any kind of incident where there's accountability. But if you haven't seen this video, let me bring it up. Let me see if I've just got here we go. Here's Katie Porter on a 3-minute video. So she's doing an interview, okay, and she doesn't like follow-up questions. Yeah, you're not allowed follow-up questions.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%, everybody who did not vote for Trump.
Fake ass laugh.
That's what you're
in a general election? Yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you.
Wait.
I represented Orange County.
I guess you can't pause
it. Purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Total meltdown. I need them to win.
So you don't.
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody. That this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Answer the question. I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
I'm happy to, but I'm not.
Do you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that.
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you.
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
Ooh, here we go.
That's what they do. They shut down.
Nope,
yep,
not
they
like this.
shut down
not
every
with
time.
7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Career
Every
killer.
Other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question.
Oh, so what she's saying is I want one of those scripted Biden interviews, right? Is that what she's saying, dude?
Yeah. That's what it sounded like to me.
So with Katie Porter, it only got worse. So
can I get a teleprompter?
Exactly. Can she read the teleprompter? I don't know, dude. But it only got worse for this Katie Porter who's supposed to, running to take Gavin Newsom's place. Piece of shit for not allowing the water to flow down during the Palisades fire. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, it wasn't Gavin Newsom's job. Fuck you too. Here is the next thing. It gets worse with Katie Porter, dude. So after this, A couple days later, here she is trying to do a video, and she's telling people to get the F out of her shot. Check it out.
It's dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually it's not that
That's a Democrat.
Vehicles, it's that
Okay, it does. Okay,
Watch
you
them.
also were in my shop before.
Watch them.
Stay
It's
out
the Paris
of my
Climate
shop.
Accord and the electric
I'm gonna start
vehicles.
again with electric vehicles saving us money.
This is how they argue, dude. This is how they argue. I just want to let you know, Paris Climate Accord and electric vehicles. Get the fuck out of my shot. So these are people that you're actually voting for, and they put on this false facade. And you know, I'm all, you know, Christian, and I'm a good person, and I'm this, that, and another. But this is what we're talking about, people waking up in the digital age, you know. There's nothing that you do if you are not an honest person, or if you are not a good moral person. All of this shit's going to come out on you in this digital age, man. But it even gets worse, okay? For Katie Porter. Okay. So after all these videos came out, I got a little bit of an image here for you. I'm going to share with you, man. So, oh my gosh. So apparently
This is going to be a surprise to me because I've not seen it.
Well, apparently she's known for assault.
Okay.
So Representative Katie Porter scalded ex-husband's scalp with mashed potatoes. Okay. No, this is true, dude. The former husband of Representative Katie Porter said the California Democrat frequently abused him verbally and threw toys, books, and other objects at him during their marriage. I wonder why all the Kamala Harris employees were leaving. Seems like it's something that's in the water. She even poured scalding hot mashed potatoes on his head during a fight, according to the divorce records nomination in the conservative.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Matthew Hoffman, who filed for divorce from Porter in 2013, said in request for a restraining order dated April 30th of that year that he was routinely called a fucking idiot. Did that sound like he's right in that last video? Get out of my fucking shot. And fucking incompetent by his rage-prone spouse, Katie Porter. She also shattered a glass coffee pot on their kitchen counter in March 2012 when she felt their house wasn't clean enough.
Oh my
These are
God.
fucking liberals, dude.
Insane. That is total insanity. I like that blows my mind.
I know, and she's supposed to be, you know, she probably pushes this I'm a Christian narrative and all this stuff, you know. That's what St. Bippy was asking me about that. I imagine she pushes that for the votes or whatever it is, you know. Everybody knows that's a ploy and a play. But you know, this is what people are voting for out in California, man. And she was one of the front runners.
So you got the choice between that or Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, I mean, that brings to light the old saying, I'm going to get so fucked up, I'm going to put my in the mashed potatoes, like to another level, bro. You know what I mean? But absolutely, dude, just a total like realization of these people and their character and their content on the Democratic side of the aisle. These are things they do in their everyday life, man. And conservatives don't go with that shit.
It makes me think of the Warcraft video where the guy took his mom took his Warcraft account away, and he goes in his room and like he ends up getting so mad he covers himself with a blanket and shoves the remote up his ass and shit. And
oh yeah, definitely, yes, yeah.
Like they're insane.
They are, dude. So I just wanted to go through that and share that with you, man. Total Democratic meltdown. Here we go. Dan Scavino back in the news. Here we go.
Yeah, Dan Scavino. I'd clip this from X. Dan Scavino Jr. had posted this, and he had posted this on 10/7/17. You know,
here we go, baby.
10/7/2025, and it was posted at 10:32. So 10:32, you convert that to military time, that takes you to 22:32. And you got Trump in that image eating popcorn like the show's about to start.
Oh, absolutely.
So Q 2232 says faster than you know. Well, actually, let's move up to the top. Things are moving, and Anon had said, and Q says faster than you know, but that will soon change. RE visibility, public interest forces the sun to shine. Well, why are we here? Q. So things are moving faster than you know, and Anon, was talking about things are moving, and Q says faster than you know. I think we are actually starting to see things move faster than you know, because again, we've talked about this drip, 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 drip flood. And we've also talked about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the drops say something along the lines that the initial wave will kind of move a little bit slow, but it'll pick up momentum and start moving faster. So, that's just kind of like the gist of what I'd got out of that drop. I don't have it on hand, but I think if you look back at what we've went through, since Trump has come into office, like the stuff he's declassified with the JFK files, the MLK files, the 2020 election files, the 2016 election files, and it just keeps getting bigger. And then the Epstein stuff is kind of starting to snowball a little more. And then we've got indictments with Comey now, and like it just keeps building and building and building and getting bigger. So again, like this says, faster than you know, and I think we're starting to see this whole entire plan pick up some momentum, in my opinion. But I kind of wanted to point that out there. You got anything on that, or you want me to roll on to the next slide?
No, go ahead, man.
All right. Next slide. Benny posted this. Breaking: former FBI Director James Comey is scheduled to appear in court for his federal felony charges on January 5th, 2026.
Oh, okay. So that kind of goes, okay.
So
Cool.
what you got on that? You got anything on that?
Well, no. I think I was actually getting messed up with the Comer subpoena list. Something that really pissed me off. But I'm glad to see this out of Benny.
Yep.
Yeah, Comey scheduled to appear in court January 5th, 2026, starting off the new year with a bang, baby.
Yep. It's going to be awesome. Again, I said I think we're starting to enter the accountability phase, but I think it's still going to take some time. I don't look for real big mass shit to happen until sometime around next year, maybe possibly close to midterms, during midterms, or a little after midterms, before we start seeing some real solid accountability. But we are starting to have some accountability right now with Comey being indicted, in my opinion.
Well, actually, I do have a little bit about that. So with the House subcommittee and everything that was going on, that was something that was really pissing me off. So I'm glad to see this out of Benny Johnson. And, and I want to show this to the people. So for people that's a little bit worried about, so Representative James Comer, House Oversight Committee is compelling the following individuals to appear for depositions through issued subpoenas. We've been following this, man, and it really pissed me off, dude. October 2nd, Merrick Garland. Okay, so they sent a letter out, right? Okay, and the letter said, I don't know anything about Epstein. And then, all of a sudden, Merrick Garland, well, okay, James Comer dismissed his subpoena. All right, you don't have to show up. Next, Comey, October 7th, did the same thing. James Comer dismissed his subpoena hearing. So that was really throwing me for a loop. And then if you look, we've also got William Barr, August 18th, Alberto Gonzalez, Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder. Then you've got Hillary Clinton was supposed to happen on the 9th. I didn't hear anything about that. Bill Clinton on the 14th. So, I'm really confused and messed up about that one a whole lot. But for Benny Johnson to report today and say, bam, right here. Well, okay, maybe not the Epstein crap, but James Comey is going to be scheduled to appear in court for his federal felony charges. Well, that brings me a little bit of relief, I guess, because I want to put that out there because I know people have been following that subpoena list and they're like, what the hell's going on, dude? Why aren't these people showing up? They're just able to send some damn letter out there and all of a sudden you get no accountability in the month of Red October. It's really pissing me off. What about you, Hex?
Yeah, it is me too. But I don't expect us, I really didn't expect us to get like full accountability for anything this month. I expected some new stuff to come out to bust the door down for the accountability. I'm thinking that's going to happen maybe before the month's out, possibly. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's my thoughts on it. But I've got a clip here that let's see, it's Comey trial. And it's from the news here, MSNBC News, fake news, MSNBC.
Surprisingly.
Yep. Let's see what they have to say about this.
Before I answer that, I should tell you we have some notes from our reporters inside the courtroom now. And I guess the news out of this is that a trial date has been set for January 5th. Now, of course, that is very preliminary, and I personally do not expect that to hold. But that is the current trial date. I'm just seeing some details and some color from our producer.
I just want to point out there, like, this was the shutdown clock over there on the bottom right of the screen.
Oh, yeah, it was 7 days.
When this came out, 7/10/2026. You got a 17 there. I just kind of wanted to highlight that. But let's continue.
Who were inside the courtroom that the EDVA attorneys entered the courtroom at approximately 10 minutes before the hour, shook hands with the Comey team.
I'm sorry, 7 days, 10 hours and 26 minutes. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Lindsay Halligan was wearing a black suit. Members of James Comey's family filed in a minute or so later, followed by members of the press. Our folks saw Pat Fitzgerald, James Comey's lawyer, former prosecutor, in an animated conversation with the prosecutors in the case as the press came in. And Fitzgerald addressed the court and said, "It's the honor of my life to represent Mr. Comey." And Pat Fitzgerald, we should remember, is a longtime Justice Department prosecutor. He was a special counsel. He actually prosecuted Dick Cheney's former chief of staff for lying to investigators, got a prison sentence. That man, Scooter Libby, was pardoned. So he's a guy that's been around the legal system for decades, and he is now representing James Comey in this matter.
Okay, we're watching that federal courthouse. Ken, we've got our cameras trained on the podium that's set up in case.
All right, so the guy they let me remove that from stage real quick. The guy they put the guy they're putting Comey in front of. There you go. You want to give that a read, Parabellum?
Yeah, okay. So here we go. The federal judge assigned to James Comey's criminal case will be overseeing the most high-profile and political.
By the way, he's a Biden-appointed judge, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead.
Here we go. What's up with all these Biden-appointed judges, dude?
Yeah.
In President Donald Trump's second term, but U.S. District Judge Michael Nachmanoff's fourth-degree black belt in Shotokan karate will undoubtedly come in handy as the nation and the White House scrutinize. Is anybody lost yet? His Shotokan karate emphasizes the need to remain calm under pressure. In interviews with CNN, people who knew and have worked with Nachmanoff, including lawyers who have appeared before him, described the judge as an unflappable jurist who is particularly well equipped to handle the. Why does it feel like they're reading like Chinese subtitles out of a movie?
I don't know.
Nachmanoff, an appointee of former President Joe Biden, whose courthouse in Virginia has set Comey's arraignment for Wednesday morning. The former FBI director was indicted last month on federal charges of giving false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding for allegedly lying to Congress. What the hell did that have to do with
exactly
karate, dude?
I know. I read that and I had to clip. I think I clipped that from, if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have clipped that from CNN. I can't remember exactly where I screenshotted that from, but I just
they're reporting this.
I was trying to pull something up to find out, what was going on with him, and I pulled that up, and then like the whole karate shit. I'm like, what the hell? What does that got to do with anything? Is he gonna like judo chop? I mean, like,
I swear to God, this reminds me. This is like an image of what reminds me of when the Democrats tried to play cool during the Kamala Harris campaign videos. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, and then boom.
Or the other thought that popped into my head, like with this karate thing, is like, how like a lot of us are like, Trump's like a fan of Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of made me think, are they trying to like kind of play off of that on the Democratic side of it, maybe?
Yeah.
But like, it was just a bunch of garbage when I read. I was like, I got to screenshot this and put it on the show.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, like it blew my mind. Let's see. Let me remove a couple things here, and there we go. Let's pull this up. So back to this Benny Johnson post. Comey scheduled it made me think of, actually I ended up looking up some Q drops around Comey, and this popped up and like really stood out to me. This drop, 4456, why it matters. And we were talking about Graham earlier. Graham now has sweeping authority to subpoena documents and more than 50 individuals. And I think I pulled this up as we were scrolling through that earlier on the show, but more than 50 individuals related to the Russia investigation, including former FBI Director James Comey, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. So, this whole thing with Comey happening, and that coming out that he's actually going to have to face a trial, it made me get on QAG and kind of look through some of the Comey drops, but this one stood out the most to me because it ties back into exactly what all this is about, the Russia investigation, and we've got Comey and Brennan both being investigated right now. Yeah, but I just thought that was interesting. Let's see. Do I want to put this up here? There's a link in this too. Yeah, this is what Q's linking to in that. This was an article from 5/18 of 2020, and Graham announces committee to consider subpoena authorizations related to oversight of FISA process, Crossfire Hurricane investigation. And then there's a whole article there. I'm not going to read through it unless you want to read through it, Parabellum, but I just kind of wanted to toss that out there that's what Q was linking to in
process, Crossfire Hurricane, Arctic frost, going into all that. It's getting ready to go down, man. So there's your key word for the month: accountability.
Yep. Let's see where we at here. Okay, so actually I need to get some more slides uploaded here. Let me clear the stage of some of this.
Okay.
Remove from studio and remove. Give us some white music there, Parabellum, or
all right, I got you.
Something to sink our ears into while I get.
I got you.
There you go.
A little bit of breaking news just came in. Actually.
Oh, what do we got?
Hold on one second. Let me pull this down. There we go. A little bit of background, a little bit of breaking news. So apparently Xi Jinping just made a statement that came out according to the China trade deal and all of the mysterious stuff that was going on it. This was his response. Xi Jinping, you real asshole, Donald.
Oh, that's good.
That shit was popping up on Trump, man. And I'm dying. You're an asshole. Don't know what's going on there again with the China deals yet. More details to come, but apparently President Trump's real asshole, Donald.
I kind of felt like I was at Peking.
Yeah.
All right, so let me back up through my notes here. All right, we finished that one. So yeah, let's get into a little bit of this. CIA Director Ratcliffe. This was posted also on the 10/7, which is another 17. Just kind of want to point that out there. At 8:00 a.m. And Ratcliffe says, today I declassified at CIA intelligence regarding Ukraine after determining it is in the public interest. And actually, if you go to the description of the show, I've got a link, but he says, read the reports here on CIA.gov in 1 second. And I will actually post that link in chat too. If anybody's in chat and wants to click on that link really quick and don't want to go to the description. Let me go to chat here real quick and I'll throw that link in there. But if you want to read these documents, I've not got to read through them yet. I've not had time. Let's put that on the screen. There we go. There is the link to those documents if you want to read through them. Again, I've not had time to.
I haven't got to see this one yet. So what's it virtually about?
It's bribery and all the stuff that went on in Ukraine with
all the legal scandals and scams of them being the most corrupt country. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about this. It all ties into Biden. Do you remember Burisma and the whole thing there with Hunter and Biden getting the prosecutor fired and stuff like
yeah,
that.
you're talking about Petro Poroshenko.
Yeah.
And then the Biden family ties to Burisma. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so that made me pull up this Q drop. What happens if Biden becomes POTUS knowing he thought Hunter +1 took massive amounts of bribes to change? Oh, by the way, this drop was made 10/7 of 2020. Let's go back and look. When was this made by Ratcliffe? 10/7/2025. So this drop was made 10/7/2020. And what if Biden, became POTUS knowing he thought Hunter +1 took massive amounts of bribes to look the other way, U.S. policy toward Ukraine in favor of Ukraine? Would Ukraine own and control the White House?
Wow.
So, you've got CIA director Ratcliffe posting that.
Did you see what Kirill Dmitriev responded to that?
From
Russia?
I'm not.
So, if you've been following a little bit with
Yeah,
that,
I follow him, but I've not.
Kirill Dmitriev, he came out and he claimed the corruption that you're speaking about between Burisma and Hunter Biden and the billions of dollars, millions of dollars. He claimed this corruption provoked the war in Ukraine as a cover up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yep. How about that shit?
Yeah.
But anyway, this was made, what we're looking at on the screen right here was made 10/7/2025 by John Ratcliffe. And again, this Q drop was made 10/7 of 2020. So he made this on a delta of that Q drop when he declassified that stuff.
Wow.
Which was an exact delta for that Q drop. Yeah. Which I thought that I was like, wow. But if anybody's, go ahead.
Even more so with that, you got to also add in what happened with that. You had at Biden's request, and there was those emails and that were released here recently as part of this, that it said flat out in the email, the president or VP Joe Biden would like to withhold the dissemination of this intel report. So he was, again, the information came in and he purposely withheld the dissemination of that information to the public and to other agencies. They're caught red-handed.
Yep. If anybody doesn't know, here, this is just a little bit into it. I've got a clip here. Let's play this. It's an older clip of Biden talking about that prosecutor getting him fired. What was his name? Crap, I can't think of the prosecutor's name, but he was after Hunter Biden over the whole Burisma thing. And
Jack Smith, that was later on for Trump.
But anyway, let's watch this.
We're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch.
And I call that clip son of a bitch.
Absolutely. Let me share this for
why would he want to get the prosecutor fired?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll show you here. Hold on here. Let me zoom this in. I can't do it for long. Maybe my computer will shut down. Okay, so here's the key revelations of the declassified documents that we're talking about. And we were talking about, let's see if I can find it. Biden's intervention. If you look at this right here, 2015, 2016. It was an email from then Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, to CIA Director John Brennan, noted Biden's strong preference that the intelligence not be shared further. The report was ultimately withheld from the broader dissemination within the U.S. government. So I wanted to add that in there. That's exactly why he wanted to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they knew that they were caught red-handed, and we don't want that information out there.
Just like everything else with them.
Yeah. They're caught up in their own bullshit. Uh-oh.
I got some some corn. I call them corn comms, not corn cobs, corn comms. We've been following I have Grassley here a whole lot lately with his post talking about corn. And if you've watched previous episodes, we've went over some of them, but Grassley had posted this October 6th, earlier this week. And he said, Grassley Farm Report, beans harvested 3/4, 3/4 of corn left. Soybean corn, hashtag soybean watch, hashtag corn watch. 3/4. So that made me pull up a couple drops here.
Soybeans in there. That's funny because President Trump's protecting the soybean farmers right now with tariff revenue. So,
So it reminded me of quite a few, but there was one big one that it reminded me of, and this isn't it, but I just wanted to hit on these real quick. This was Q3708, 12/17 of 2019, and Q says corn in kill brackets harvest 5.5, which is loud and clear. And then this one we've hit on the show before with Grassley and his corn comms, and I kind of wanted to point it out one more time. The harvest crop has been prepared and soon will be delivered to the public for consumption, which I take that as all this information that we're getting right now that's been put out had been prepared, and it's now being delivered to the public for not our, but the normies consumption, to process this information so they understand what's going down whenever the shit hits the fan, and they're not like, oh, I don't understand. So they see all this stuff on the news or alternative news sources and understand what's going on. So that's what I thought he was getting at in that. But also in this drop, it says hunters become the hunted. We talked about that at the top of the show, and the whole red herring, red October, hunters become the hunted. Treason, sedition. How do you remove a liability? 6 o'clock can be dangerous. I'm waiting on something here, maybe possibly this month to happen at 6 o'clock, or possibly in November to happen at 6 o'clock. That can be dangerous, that end up doing some massive amounts of damage to the left, in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. But anyway, I wanted to pull that up and kind of talk around it. But this was the big one that I wanted to touch on, because let's look at this one more time with this Grassley. And Grassley says 3/4 of corn left. So let's look at that. Made me think of Q34. And we've had this one on the show a couple times, Q34. And it says, Q Clearance Patriot, my fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11.3, and I'll get to that in a moment, upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, which I'm assuming Q is referring to John Podesta, because if anybody knows anything about Pizzagate, John Podesta has deep ties. This goes back to the WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, and the email server, Hillary Clinton. That's the whole email between all the emails going on there. But anyway,
I believe Pam Bondi ripped Podesta's ass during that meeting as well. So
yeah. So Podesta is going to come back into the picture, and are we going to see Podesta get arrested on November 3rd of this year or November 3rd of next year? But before I think Trump's term's out, sometime in November 3rd, whether it be next year or the following, maybe even this year, we may see Podesta end up getting arrested or indicted. But anyway, upon the arrest announcement of Podesta, actionable 11.4, confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. So we have seen a whole lot right now of riots take place as like distractions with Antifa and, you know, all this anti-ICE riots. Yeah, it's all over.
Illinois, Portland, Tennessee.
So, you know, that's something to keep in mind and make note of. On POTUS order, a state of temporary military control will be action and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition, and special operator necessity. Rest assured that the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted to the fullest. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many of us have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system, EMS, which now I think is, they changed that to the EAS, emergency alert system.
It did. Yep.
During this time, in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news. And you'd sent me something a while back about that. I think it was like week before last, you sent me something that had this in it, a video that one of your friends had sent you. And this is kind of why I said that I don't totally dismiss that video you sent me.
Right. Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, but I look at it with a little bit of caution. But anyway, like the emergency broadcast system. So avoiding the fake news to all citizens, organizations and or people that wish to do us harm at this time will meet swift fury. So think of Q22, and Q22 was who controls the ENG? Why was the ENG recently activated in select cities within the U.S.? But anyway, at the end of Q22, it says no civil unrest, clean and swift. So you got Q34 saying pretty much the same thing. Certain laws have been lifted to provide, or wait, where was it at? There it was. Organizations and people that wish to do us harm at this time will be met with swift fury. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift, kind of like Q22. Certain laws have been lifted to provide our great military with necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. So again, this is all playing off. This is Q34 playing off Grassley's 3/4 of corn that he says in that post. So I thought that was like really banger of a possible connection with Q.
Oh yeah.
So what was you saying that the whole thing with Podesta and Bondi? You were saying something about that.
There was something about Podesta and Bondi. I didn't actually get a chance to download that video. I could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was another video. I actually forgot to download that one for you, but she was grilling Podesta's ass.
That would have been cool. Yep, that would have been cool to go with this. By the way, Podesta, wasn't he? John Podesta was named Biden's liaison for climate or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
I believe so.
But yeah, if anybody knows anything about Pizzagate, Podesta is highly tied into Pizzagate. But we'll move on to this one, and this is Grassley again. And this one I just kind of I wasn't huh?
He was the climate czar.
Climate czar. That's what yeah.
He was the climate czar. He was Kamala.
So Grassley had posted this the other day too. I think it was the day after, but he says met with Senator Ernest. Anyway, in this he's got today, but he's got the number 2 in day. And I had some other ties into this too. And I don't know if this is something that Grassley normally does. I've followed him, but I've not really paid attention to this until recently with the corn comms that he's been putting out. But he has 2 day, and then on that he also popcorn he's talking about. But I had made me think of Q 2644, and this is a lot that has to do with what's going on right now. I thought I had a bigger version of that. I don't know. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Maybe you guys can see it a little better on the screen, but I'll try to read this to you. In the blue section up there on Q 2644, Q says, and this is going to go into some Soros shit, but U.S. taxpayers are paying for it all. Paris Accord equals scam, trillions. Red Cross equals scam, billions. Foreign aid equals scam, trillions. War equals scam, trillions. Foreign aid equals scam, trillions. I mean, like, isn't that kind of what Doge uncovered and put a stop to, was like the foreign aid shit?
Absolutely. A lot of it.
So, Q was telling us about this, and this is... they're
still continuing.
This was from 2018 that this was posted. So anyway, Q was on to say, and on. Who audits where the money actually goes? Who actually receives the money? U.S. taxpayers are funding the very people we are engaged in taking down. Slush funds everywhere. Think GS pays for, and GS is Q's referring to George Soros. Think George Soros pays for Antifa out of his own pocket? The hole is deep. Feel sick yet? Q.
Yeah.
So I got that, like, if you scroll down a little further in that drop toward the bottom of it there, it's highlighted in yellow, 2 days ahead of schedule. So that's kind of what I was like getting at with that, because I thought it sounded an awful lot like what's going on right now with what was in blue there that I just read.
If you want to, I do have that Podesta video.
Before you play that Podesta video, I've only got one more.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, actually, I got one video I want to play right after this. Then I got a couple more slides, and then we can play that. But let me upload this video clip real quick. Clips, and this is our White House PR.
Oh yeah,
and she is absolutely beautiful. Check this out.
Potential backing of these groups, particularly Antifa, is certainly something the administration is looking into aggressively. And the federal government has never really been mobilized or tasked with doing that. So we're kind of kickstarting that into gear. The FBI is working on it alongside the White House's Homeland Security Task Force. We have our intelligence community looking into this as well. And even the Secretary of Treasury is involved with these matters since they are financial in nature. And we will continue to get to the bottom of who is funding these organizations in this organized anarchy against our country and our government. It's a question the American people have been begging the answer for many years, and we're committed to uncovering it. And when we do, I'm sure you'll be one of the first people to know.
I'm glad you played that video, because I actually had a video I didn't get to play earlier, and it links with this perfect. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Hold on. I just wanted to point back at this one more time here. This actually, I think I got a better clip of that. Let me pull that up. Yeah, I did make a better slide of that so you can see it better. Image files and slides, and here it is. And StreamYard going to let me edit? Yep, it is. Okay, there we go. Let's add that to stage. So this is what I was reading there in blue a second ago, but I wanted to kind of go over this one more time after what she said. She was looking, they're looking into who's funding this stuff, and just the top part. And one little line I want to read this again. U.S. taxpayers are paying for it all. So, I mean, like, that's huge right there. Paris Accord scam, Red Cross scam, foreign aid scam, war scam. But down here, it gets back into, think George Soros paid for Antifa out of his own pocket. And what have we seen a whole lot lately that this whole entire funding is coming from with Antifa? Who was it?
Soros backed.
Soros. Yep.
Yeah, George Soros backed. Absolutely. And I've got a video that goes with that perfectly, 3-minute video. If you got a lemon, go ahead and hit it. But
yeah. All right, go ahead.
Great. This is a list of everything that came out of the White House roundtable meeting, of them speaking about some of the organizations like Tides and Antifa that's funded, by George Soros and a lot of other organizations.
All right. Pull it up.
That this is not just a story about violence and chaos, as you alluded to, Mr. President. This is a money story. And at the Government Accountability Institute, my colleague and I, Peter Schweitzer and our team, we followed the money, and we followed it to the top of what we call the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc. and we found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network, the Open Society network, it's other funding networks, the Arabella funding network, the Tides funding network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country. Mr. Hans-Jörg Wyss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem. And so I want to share 3 money facts with you about what we call Riot Inc. Number one, like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets as quickly as possible. But it does have those investors that I mentioned. Number two, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa organizations, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million from the Riot Inc. investors. These would be the lawyer groups. These would be the groups that advocate for calling good, honest Americans fascists, etc. And then 3, I think the most shocking thing is that we have found that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into these funding networks, including at least $4 million to these very groups themselves, not just Antifa types, but there was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60 rioters were charged with domestic terrorism. These groups received money for that from both the billionaire class as well as taxpayer money. So one other thing, this money helps fund the decentralized crowdfunding platforms. These are ways that Antifa, the John Brown Gun Club of Elm Fork, which had links to that attack on the ICE facility, the Socialist Rifle Association, and just because they don't have LLCs or EIN numbers doesn't mean they can't get paid. Some of these funding platforms, crowdfunding platforms, are funded by this network that we call Riot Inc. So, again, I want to thank you for your leadership, for the whole cabinet's leadership on this. We're going to keep following the money and appreciate everything you're doing, sir.
Do you know the name of any of the funders? Do you know the names? Because if you do, I'd like you to give them to Cash or Pam.
Absolutely.
Or Christy.
Yeah, we'll do that.
As soon as you can. That's all of you. Because you probably know the names after a certain period of time. You tend to find out.
Damn. So there's the big one that I wanted to put in, dude. Do you know the names? President Trump looking for more accountability.
Well, that and the whole follow the money thing. Like,
it's follow the money. That's what I labeled that video. Was,
that's out of queue.
Who's funding Antifa? And here's the thing that was kind of came out, dude, as far as who's funding Antifa, and it's not just the George Soros Open Society Network. So some of the other NGOs they listed was Arabella Funding Network, the Tides Fishing Network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Johann George Hans-Jörg Wyss, a billionaire from Switzerland, has been funding these money that goes into Antifa. There's been additional foreign cash. And he even mentioned right there in that video, there was over $100 million of U.S. taxpayers' money that went straight into this shit that's funding these riots.
Exactly what I said in that drop,
right
or what Q said in that drop. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Goes right with Q, but there you get to also see Trump holding accountability. What's the names? Yeah, we'll look into that.
But yeah, like everything they were talking about in that, ties right into Q, in my opinion, because he was talking about follow the money and, the stuff like I was talking about in that drop, the funding and all that. Like, I think it goes right along with it.
Absolutely.
Give me 1 second here. There we go. And I thought this was interesting too. Homeland Security had posted this, now boarding ICE Air. And immediately, you got the seatbelt sign, fasten the seatbelts. Immediately made me pull up this drop, 1402 of Q. And what had to happen first? Think logically. Think DOJ, FBI. Think cleaning. And we're seeing cleaning, especially with DOJ and FBI. We'd seen that. Number 64. I start to say hashtag 64. Puzzle coming together? Question mark. We have reached our cruising altitude of 40,000 feet long ago. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier with GRASSLEY and the harvested crop is ready for public consumption. So we have reached our cruising altitude of 40,000 feet long ago. As we prepare to land, please fasten your seatbelts and make sure your seat backs and folding trays are in their full upright position. Q. But I thought it was interesting. Homeland Security had posted that on the 6th of this month, which was this past week, with a seatbelt fasten sign. And then that made me think of that drop, and like everything with GRASSLEY, how like it all ties together in my eyes, like the whole GRASSLEY comms and around Q34 and, you know, all of that stuff ties together. But it was kind of hard to ignore that. Which, with that,
Damn.
What's that?
I said, God damn. Burp.
Oh.
That's the very burp I've ever heard one.
With that, we had let's get into some Trump here. And Trump had put this out on Truth Social, and it's talking about the Insurrection Act being used. Right side of the screen is this post. Left side of the screen is like the image from the post, a little bit bigger. But basically this image, this picture that he had posted, it was talking about, and this is something that a lot of people, I don't know, maybe a lot of younger people don't know, but the Insurrection Act has been used multiple times throughout history. And Chicago, this isn't the first time it's been used in Chicago. It's been used a couple times, quite a few times in Chicago. And like they've had to quell all kinds of different riots. I can't think of, can you pull those up? Is that what you're doing? How many times it's been used in Chicago? Absolutely. But yeah, it's been used. I know like there was I think it was a Bulls game once they had used the Insurrection Act. There was the RNC or DNC back in the, was it the 60s? I want to say maybe that they'd used the Insurrection Act because there was civil unrest going on. So this is nothing new, but
up to 30 times it's been used.
Yeah. So this is nothing new. And I think a lot of younger people who don't do their homework, who take everything at face value and TikTok value and shit like bullshit like that, and follow these stupid ass people who put out bullshit, take their word for it and go, oh, that's what he said. So yeah, no, you have to look into this stuff. You have to do some research. This is not the first time it's been used. They're all like, oh, this is unprecedented. And no, it's not. And it's in the Constitution. It's Trump's constitutional right. So right here, what Trump put out, this document here, is talking about the Insurrection Act being used in the 50s and 60s. And I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, this is getting into where it was in Alabama, and it was the segregation of schools, and Trump, or not Trump, shit. The president had used, at that time, had used the Insurrection Act, which was JFK, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? Am I correct?
Which one now? Let's see.
The Alabama segregation. I don't know. Maybe it's in here.
Well, let's see. There is a list of 30 here.
But anyway, it was used against the governor of Alabama during this time to get the National Guard in to help kind of segregate this, to put it into segregation in the schools, because there was, I think, 2 black students who were trying to go to school. And
it was under John F. Kennedy.
That's what I thought. It was under Kennedy. Yeah.
Governor of Alabama forbids black students from a school in Tuscaloosa.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, that's what Trump was basically what Trump was pointing out, is that this has been used multiple times, but these brain dead, mindless zombies who follow stupid ass people on TikTok want to scream otherwise because they don't know any better.
Absolutely. I mean, it happened as far as you talking about Alabama, black students from a school in Tuscaloosa. That was 63 for Kennedy. And it also went on into Lyndon B. Johnson in 65 and 60. 65, Alabama policemen pressed first Selma to Montgomery marches, federalization of Alabama National Guard before the third march. That was the consequence. Okay. So it happened again. Lyndon B. Johnson, riots and civil unrest in multiple states after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Those riots were suppressed due to the Insurrection Act. Ronald Reagan. Okay.
So,
It goes on. 87, prison riot in Atlanta over announced deportations of Cuban detainees. What was the result? Well, those riots were suppressed. George H.W. Bush, looting in the United States Virgin Islands after Hurricane Hugo. What's that sound like, Black Lives Matter? Guess what the consequence was? Order was restored. Okay.
But Trump does it, and they're like, "Ah."
Oh, God, I can't believe he's doing the Insurrection Act. 1990.
He's a fascist.
In L.A. Right in LA after the acquittal of the policeman who beat Rodney King. That riot was suppressed. Okay.
So what I'm getting at with this is Trump's, we've talked about the Insurrection Act being used on the show, that it's possibly coming. We've talked about it, maybe 3, 4, 5 episodes, Parabellum?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. We're well underway to an Insurrection Act being.
So we had this. Let me remove that from the stage, but we had this right here that happened this week, and check out what Trump has to say here.
What? The Insurrection Act. Under what conditions or terms? Well, I do it if it was necessary. So far, it hasn't been necessary. But we have an Insurrection Act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. I want to make sure that people aren't killed. We have to make sure that our cities are safe.
Yeah, the huge blow up, Democrats, they're like, oh, God, Trump's doing the Insurrection Act. Yet that's what they tried to, that's what they did whenever it came to January 6th. And, we all know the story from there.
Back to Trump putting, let me remove that one. Back to Trump putting this one out. I think Trump's hinting, like when he put that out, and everything we've seen lately with him putting the National Guards in place in different cities. Q says in 22, why was National Guards used in select cities within the U.S.? I think Trump is getting his chess pieces in place. So when it does break out, because they're going to do riots, Q34, we talked about it in Q34 here earlier on the show, but I think they're probably going to try to do some riots. But I think Trump's getting his chess pieces, which is the National Guard and the military, in place. So in case he has to invoke the Insurrection Act, I think he put this out to let everybody know that, look, it's been used in the past. Absolutely. And then he also hinted in the video that if I have to use it, I'll use it. And what do we see with a lot of these Democratic controlled cities with the governors and the mayors of, especially Chicago, is they're pushing back against it. They're pushing back against it. They're not doing anything about it. And what does the Insurrection Act? What is the Insurrection? Yep. What does the Insurrection Act action state that it is used for? In case local and state officials are unwilling to deal with the crisis and conflicts that's going on within their state, then the president can invoke the Insurrection Act.
Right. You got the designation of Antifa and the Democrats of Socialist America being designated, terrorist organizations. You've got all this going on. You've got National Guard. You've got ICE going to multiple cities. You've got Democratic governors, senators that are openly against this. And you've got violence in the streets, and this is not what we're going to stand for. So you're definitely, if you look at the last 3 times the Insurrection Act has been used, let me just go over this real briefly. The last 3 times, 1987, 1989, and 1992. Here are the 3 last times the Insurrection Act was used. 87, it was a prison riot in Atlanta over announced deportation of Cuban detainees. But now, where do you see the similarity? Are we in the riots over the deportation of illegal immigrants? Yeah, I think so. Looting in the United States Virgin Islands after Hurricane Hugo. Do we have looting that happened a lot in the streets with Black Lives Matter? Yeah, sure, they died off a whole lot, but a lot of that stuff is still going on, especially in these protests that are happening with the Antifa and the pro-Palestine movement. Riots in Los Angeles after the acquittal of policemen who beat Rodney King. We've also had that happen here recently. The whole George Floyd incident and everything. Everybody's got an opinion about it. There's a lot of things. So what you see is you see a lot of similarities with the last 3 times that the Insurrection Act was revoked. And you've had a lot of what I just announced happen within the last 5 years. It's boiling to a head, most definitely. I agree with you. The invoke of the Insurrection Act is coming.
Yep, I agree 100%. Like we've been preaching it on the show. It's coming, and I do believe it is coming. Q 4360, Insurrection Act of 1807. And this is what I just said a moment ago. Determination that various states and local authorities are not up to the task of responding to the growing unrest. Call the ball. Q. There's been some call the ball stuff come out, especially with it was mentioned. Call the ball was mentioned. I was watching the Navy 250, and they talked about that. They had talked about the storm coming, or the oncoming storm was mentioned in that. But just kind of wanted to toss that out there, and kind of wanted to take a peek one more time for anybody who is still unfamiliar with Q22. And I'm going to pound this guys. I'm going to pound Q22 into your head. Like I've done it just about every show for the past, 5-6 weeks. But let's look at Q22 again here one more time, just so you guys get it in your thick skulls who don't understand it. Anybody out there that don't understand what's going on with Trump. Who controls the NG? Why was the NG recently activated in select cities within the U.S.? Can the NG work in coordination with the Marines? And we've seen that, and I said this before, we've seen that in L.A. Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? Well, let's look back here at Q 4360, Insurrection Act of 1807, the determination that various states and local authorities are not up to the task of responding to growing unrest. So Q22, do conditions do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? I think we're getting ready to see them conditions like I was talking about with out in Chicago and multiple other Democratic cities pushing back against Trump and letting this shit go on. I think it's coming, the Insurrection Act. What former president used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly? Biggest drop ever provided on post. Study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. Yep. So there's your Q22 one more time for anybody that still don't get it. Surely by now you understand what's going on with the Insurrection Act, I hope. But anything else on that, Parabellum, or you want to move on?
Oh, that's it, man. As far as that one, I covered it pretty good.
I got this Dan Scavino post that came out. I screenshotted. He had posted a 15-second video. I think I posted this over on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. But Dan Scavino posted a 15-second video over on X. And 15 seconds made me think of Q15. I don't know if you guys can see that down at the very bottom right of the screen. I'd kind of highlighted the top of the crop that and put it down there at the bottom.
10/31, 2017.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's it. That's what that was the top of the drop. So within that drop, this is a post I'd made over on Facebook. And I said, Dan Scavino posted a 15-second video from inside the Oval Office, Q15. There are more good people than bad people. Wizards and warlocks, inside terms, but inside terms, 1 second here. Inside terms will not allow satanic or evil POS control of our country. Realize Soros, Clinton, Obama, Putin, etc. are all controlled by 3 families. The 4th was removed post POTUS, and I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother drop. That's a whole lot. But within that drop, Q says 11.3 Podesta, and we just seen that in Q34 upon the arrest announcement of Podesta, or on the arrest announcement of Podesta upon 11.3. We were talking about that. And then he says Huma 11.6. So I'm wondering, are we going to see Huma and Podesta again this November, or next November, or before Trump goes out of office in November, that those 2 people get indicted? And is that going to kick it off? We're
going to see.
Q ends this drop by saying Soros is targeted. But again, if you've been following us on the show, we've recently been pointing to who's funding Antifa, which is George Soros. We've also talked about accountability phase, and I just kind of wondering, where's that music coming from?
Oh, my bad. That was the background.
Oh, sorry. I thought I had my phone going. I was trying to figure out where that was coming from.
No, it's background music.
But we're getting some good outlook on accountability coming. Will we see this operation open full force in the coming months? Will we see Podesta indicted November 3rd? Will we see Huma indicted November 6th? I don't know. It's something to kind of keep eyes on and watch and look for it to possibly happen on the news. But that was my take on that. But this all goes back into what Bondi was talking about in that one clip that I played with Antifa. But I was going to play that again, but I don't think we really need to play that again. Okay. But I do want to pull up this one last slide here that I've got that's kind of around Soros. And it's actually, there's two drops here that I've pulled up. Q4196. Why did Soros finance anti-POTUS events? And
that's a huge statement.
Yeah, anti-POTUS events and organize across the U.S. And we seen that, back with what was it? The summer, what do they call it? The Summer of Love 2018 or 2020. Yeah, that and then the Q14. What happens if Soros funded operations if Soros funded operations get violent and engage domestic terrorism? What happens if mayors, police, commissioners, chiefs do not enforce the law? What authority does POTUS have specifically over the Marines? Why is this important? And this goes back to the Insurrection Act, and this goes back to Q22 and a couple others.
Exactly what's happening right now. Okay, we just showed you Soros funded operations, okay, including other NGOs that we're funding as well. And what happens if you get violent and engage in domestic terrorism? You've got that going all over the streets with the Antifa protests and everything's happened. Mayors and police that are going against it with federal judges who are stopping National Guard that comes in. I mean, literally, dude, that's a great drop as far as I'm concerned, because that is exactly what you're seeing unfold right now in the month of Red October.
That's exactly what I was getting at with this.
Good, man.
Like every drop that we went over tonight is exactly what we're seeing unfold right now. These are drops people made from 2018, 2017, 2018, 2020. Like, these are past drops that was made, and we're seeing them play out right now. I don't know what if you don't believe in Q right now at this point, I don't know what to tell you. You're
yeah.
But anyway, that's about all we got on that. That's probably pretty much going to wrap up the bulk of the show, but we've got some badass clips we're going to go into, unless you got something else, Parabellum.
That's it. We'll go ahead and hit some badass clips and call it a show.
All right, let's get into some badass clips. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
It don't matter. I've got actually 4 of them. Actually, I've got 6. So I'll start off with a couple little ones that we missed actually last week.
All right, I've only got 3, so go ahead.
Okay, so I've got some that we missed last week. We didn't get to play. We want to show you guys. So maybe you've seen the Portland. Good Lord, hold on. Okay, I don't know. That was my lady screaming like a banshee.
I thought you had a screaming goat in the house.
I was my lady. She screams like a billy goat. I don't know. But, so the Portland riots that were going on, man. There was, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was a bunch of people that were wearing those big, huge outfits, and they had a unicorn, and they had all this stuff as far as the LGBTQ, and then they had this frog. And then I want to show you this video because it's a very short video, but watch what they did to the breather ice.
Wait. The left had a frog?
They had a frog, dude. Yes.
Okay, let's see it.
And watch what happened with this frog. You hear that at the end? I gotta play it one more time, and I'm gonna tell
play
you,
it one more time.
Listen to the guy in the frog suit. He goes, "Oh fuck yeah! Oh fuck yeah!"
I heard it. So that was mace they squirted in there?
Yeah, that was mace.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, they definitely pepper sprayed the shit out of them with high-powered pepper spray. That was absolutely hilarious.
Makes me think of the videos where the people have got those same costumes on, but they take the fart spray and they spray it through the fan in it, and then they're like trying to get it off. They're like, ah. You're muted. You look cool saying whatever you were saying though.
Could you imagine pepper spray though, man? That going into that suit, you can't get away from it. You're just breathing it in. That's gotta be.
You can't wipe your face off. You like.
To me, it's like being in a CS gas chamber. Like you're not getting out of it. You know, it's got to be horrible.
I'm gonna die in here.
Here's another one that I had. I can't believe this got. It came out onto the national news networks and it was all over your social media. But this was also, again, I think during the Portland riots. We missed it last week. But apparently somebody had something ripped out of their ass. Listen real close.
You ripped it out of my ass. You ripped my ass
out. What was ripped out, I wonder?
What was, the only thing I was thinking is like, is this a furry anal plug? Like this lady had inside her bum, and did the ice try to capture her and grab that tail and
get her by the tail? Get her by the tail!
Real!
Oh God, I tore it off.
You ripped it out of my ass.
You ripped it out of my ass. You ripped my ass out.
You ripped my ass out. Is what she says at the end.
Dude, that brings warm feelings to my heart to be able
all right,
to
so
accountability.
I've got one. I watched the Navy 250 here this past weekend, and I thought it was really good. Watching those, the military, the Navy demonstrate their equipment, and watching the planes take off, come in and land, the guns being fired, the missiles being fired. It was all really like awesome.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things I watched was this plane here landing, and well, I'm not going to say no more. Just watch this.
Fucking sombrero, dude. It will continue as long as the shutdown is.
I know. I thought that one was great.
That's good, man. So I got one. And maybe you guys seen it. Thanks to Donaldo Trumpo. This is one for Letitia James. Short but sweet. Check it out. Reverse card, bitch.
I was getting into the music.
That was the best reverse, I swear, that ever happened. You know how it is with Letitia James and President Trump. She went after him for mortgage fraud and Uno flip, baby.
I've got some Omar shit here. You want to check it out?
Yeah.
Let's watch this shit.
Saying you married your brother.
Oh, wait a minute. By the way, this is AI generated, people. So, I just want to let you know, but it is funny.
Purposes, but are you in love?
Let me back it up.
People are saying you married your brother for citizenship purposes, but are you in love with your brother, Congresswoman? I mean, do you guys sleep with each other? Is this normal in Somalia? Does he get butt naked and yell, "I'm decapted now, sister"? Or what's the deal over there? You got some kind of stepbrother fetish, Congresswoman? And when you guys get naked and have sex, do you leave your headscarf on, or do you take it off?
So many questions surrounding Ilhan Omar, and a lot of actual new evidence came out.
I'm going to say she leaves her headscarf on so she has something to wipe herself off with.
Well, if she's in the presence of a man from her country, I'm sure she does.
Hold on. I will bring you a towel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Here's another AI generated one. Maybe you guys seen it in your feed, but this is created from Sora. Here you go, Sergeant Pepper.
What's your name, soldier? What's your name, soldier? Tell me your name. What's your name, soldier? Yeah, you hear me? What's your name, soldier? What's your name, soldier? Sergeant Pepper.
I love it.
Sole purpose in this army. To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
I love it, dude. Even though it was AI generated, I wish that happened in real life for some great conservative accountability. But you know, hey, I can live vicariously for the moment.
Yeah.
You got another one?
Yep, I do. I got some Adam Schiff. This is the last one I got. Let's watch this Adam Schiff here.
This is the President of the United States during a government shutdown, basically pushing out juvenile things on social media.
Oh, pencil neck, man. I'm telling you, dude, with the little sombrero. Yep. It's insane what's coming out with this AI stuff today. I'm going to go ahead and end it with a new badass clip from a new COMEY mugshot AI video that came out. You check it out on the Donald Trump. If you've seen the last one, it was talking about shoving cucumbers up his ass. But here we go, part deuce.
Hi, guys. James Comey here. Well, I just got indicted for being a lying, corrupt piece of shit. So I just want to ask President Trump, please forgive me, Mr. President. My tiny white ass is not ready to share a jail cell with a big black man that looks like Michelle Obama with a huge schlong. I saw her dancing on Ellen, and honestly, I don't think I can take all that dangling dong in one night. I hope you forgive me, and I'm sorry.
Oh, man, you gotta love it. Donald Trump, he posted that, and he's like, stop it, dude. Stop it.
I'd seen that earlier. I think today I seen that sometime while I was at work scrolling through X, and that popped up, and I watched it and thought it was funny. I meant to clip it, but I didn't. I'm glad you got that one, though.
Oh, definitely. It was part deuce of what's going on with the Comey stuff. But there's a lot of like AI technology that's going out there now. So basically you can use your virtual video cameras to be able to talk like Taylor Swift or anybody that you want to, you know, and you can kind of make these cool little AI videos. So it's fun.
What was the AI video, Sora? Is that what it is?
Sora. Yep.
Yeah,
Sora is for the video, and then if you guys ain't checked it out,
I'd seen a lot of people posting the bear and the cat, you know, like cat protecting the baby from the bear and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and thinking it was real. But a lot of people, people, this is something you really need to start looking into. You know, make sure when you look into this that. Or make sure when you see this stuff, you look into it and see that is this real or is this AI? Because it's getting really hard to tell. I mean, like when I first seen that whole entire clip with the cats and fighting off the bears, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then I didn't post it, but I was like, was amazed by it. But then I found out later that it was AI generated. Like it even fooled me. So you have to watch this stuff really close, some of the stuff you post, because this AI is getting a lot more advanced.
It is, dude. It is.
Yeah, try to make sure what you post is actually legit and real. And again, that's even hard nowadays because like with as advanced as AI is, it's hard to tell sometimes what's real and what's not real. But you have to really do some digging to find out.
Oh, yeah. Is it okay if I give a little preview of the audio of what's coming up on our next episode, possibly for the Anon song? Anons, Are You Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to play that real quick.
I don't think Anons, Are You Ready? I don't think I've heard this.
No. This is one. It's the female duet audio that I sent you. You'll be working on that, I think, for the next show.
Okay.
And it'll make another great video that kind of coincides with Red October. But here's you guys a little bit of an introduction.
How do you stop what is coming? You can't. Alon's, are you ready for some arrest? Are you ready? Ready to see pain? Are you ready to be a part of history?
So anybody knows that's a Q drop, and that's a little bit of a jump into what we're going to be working on for the next possible show.
And there will be there will be a video again, like we done Red October. Red October is now on our Same Cues, Different Views Rumble.
It is.
And I think it's on our YouTube also. So you can go look that up anytime you want to and share it, like it. You know, that Red October was like, I thought that was awesome. But we're gonna do the same thing with this one. We'll have a video to it, and we'll post it separately as a standalone aside from the show. So you'll be able to go check that out, share it, download it. Maybe I don't know if it'll let you download it or not, but yeah, we're definitely going to work on this for the next show, and we may end up changing the intro up a little bit, either next show or the show after. Speaking of next show,
I don't more technological. We're finding some ways to work together here.
Next next Friday, I'm not sure. Like it's my Halloween party is Saturday, and you know Parabellum will be coming up to the house for the Halloween party, Big Country. So we may not have a show Friday night because I've got a lot of stuff to do on Friday night to get ready for Saturday night's Halloween party.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought about doing a pre-recorded show. And one of the things I thought about doing for a pre-recorded show was just like maybe taking a documentary and just like letting that play out. And one of the documentaries I was kind of toying around with is we talked about this, especially Big Country and we talked about going through Project Looking Glass. So maybe next Friday's show will be a pre-recorded show, and it may just be us at the top of the show introducing the video, and then we just let the video play throughout the whole entire show. So I don't know yet. And then again, we may have a live show. It depends on what happens next week. If some big stuff happens, we'll probably do a live show. But if it's still kind of some basic news that's going on, we may just do a pre-recorded show. But just want to let you guys know. You probably won't find out until next Friday. You just have to watch and see. Maybe we'll be live. Maybe it'll be a pre-recorded. But anyway, I think we're done for the night. Unless you got anything else, Parabellum?
That'll be it, man. You want to close it out with the Red October video?
Something different. Yeah, let me switch that up here because I've got our standard closing video out. Let me pull up. Let's see, Red October. There it is. Set as closing video, and yeah, okay. So I'm all systems go for Red October closing. Any closing words, Parabellum?
Closing words. Again, we are in the hunt for Red October. Accountability is coming. It is happening all the way around you. Okay. If you don't feel like it is, just take a little bit of a look deeper, look further. There is accountability happening out of FBI, out of the DOJ. It's coming from President Trump. It's in your conservative news outlets every single day. They're not taking no shit no more. They're done with woke strategies in the army and the military. They are done with all of the far leftist liberal ideologies across the United States. We are coming back, and it's happening. You're literally in the midst of Red October. So hold on.
I want to start off by saying follow and trust in Jesus Christ. Follow and trust in the plan. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I may have thrown it out there once before in the show, but I had lost faith at one time in Jesus Christ until I found the Cube movement and shows that I watch. A lot of the shows that I watch, and with the Cube movement, I've gotten more faith now than I've ever had in my life. But trust the plan. Accountability is coming. Quit whining. Again, Q says not everything can be declassified. Some stuff has to be held back. So, trust it. It's coming. We've seen it. If anything tonight, I hope you've got from this show is that we've showed you that we're watching these Q drops that we went over on the show tonight. We are watching them play out right now in real time. And if that doesn't convince you that there's a master, or not a master, but a military intelligence plan put into place to take back this country, I don't know what will.
A lot of these drops posted years ago.
Yep, we're watching it play out. So God bless and peace out. Where we go one, we go all. Amen. And we will see you next Friday night, 8 o'clock. Go down there and smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching.
Absolutely.
God bless, guys. We're out.
Red October! President Trump is our president, and the accountability phase is coming. Ice in the streets, illegals being deported. America is back. Yeah!
Trump is the bodyguard of Western civilization. You want to talk about a fighter, a walking fighter? He's an absolute savage.
He knows that this is much bigger than him. It's about the American people. They have no idea what they have.